Good evening and welcome to GrowedUpGeek Gaming. It is a special Monday edition. I don't think we've ever done a Monday show. So we are super happy to come here. We are here for the makeup game for last Wednesday's session that got canceled because my internet got destroyed. So here we are here for a special Monday edition of One Shot Wednesdays, because why not? I'm your host, just your host tonight, Manny at GrowedUpGeek on your social medias. With me, as always, an amazing group of players, and most importantly, a guest DM, Sam, who will be finishing his exceptionally creepy narrative that we started last week. Before we get to meeting them, a little bit of quick channel business. So we are tomorrow night, Tuesday, will be an absolute final episode of Twilight Malediction, our Rime of the Frostmaiden campaign. We're going to be finishing up with an epilogue episode. All the players are going to tell us what their characters got up to after the campaign ends. Wednesday night, we will be back here for our regular One-Shot Wednesdays for our special Halloween episode. A couple of the people here will be joining us for that as well, with our amazing guest dungeon master, good friend of the channel, Litsa Bronwyn. We're excited to see what she has. I'm pretty sure that's it. Thanks for everybody who's joining us tonight. Like I said, Monday, unexpected. So anybody who comes out, we appreciate it. I'm Manny at GrowedUpGeek on Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and YouTube. All videos available YouTube Mondays and Tuesday mornings. Check us out. You like what we do here, give us a follow, a sub, or anything just to show your affirmation, and we appreciate the support. With that said, let's get into tonight's adventure. I will be playing Loris, the exceptionally optimized built by my two kind of character builders we have on staff here, Nick and Raz. He's a Gith, a paladin, and an aberrant mind sorcerer who was kidnapped by something in the night that messed with his mind, and as a result he swore an oath to protect others from that same thing happening. He's an Oath of the Watcher's paladin. Let us go around and let's meet the other players, and we'll throw it to our DM for tonight. Right up above me, David, tell us about Baxiros.
His characteristics, he cares very much only for himself, a little self-absorbed, but pretty brave in general, but not so brave in the undead area, which didn't really go well for this campaign. But yeah, so that's Baxiros.
I mean, we all have to have boundaries. It's important.
Yeah.
Let us go over to one half of my character building combination. Raz, tell us about Kalinari.
Yeah, so this time around I'm playing Kalinari, the Kalishtar Paladin Bard, somebody who came along on this particular adventure hoping that his disconnection from the realm of dreams would allow him to help the people of this poor town who are being ravaged every night by nightmares. And yeah, so far that hasn't gone very well either, to be honest.
The evil so strong, it made the non-dreaming Kalishtar have a dream as well. So things not going well for the people or us currently. Cue Ralph Wiggum, I'm in danger meme. Let's go up to the other half of my character building. I'd like to think Nick did the paladin, Raz did the sorcerer, but that's how I'm going to picture it in my head. Nick, tell us about Caliban.
Caliban is a fighter with a little bit of sorcery in him. He is a former sellsword and turned mercenary in a way. So he used to work alone, is now working with another band. He tried to join this band to kind of run away from his past and away from the horrors in his past. And apparently he's just got horrors in his future too.
Yes. I mean, we're a good group. It's not reflective of the group that we ended up in this situation. I think it's not our fault. Awesome. All right, and last and not least, joining us was going to be here when we started, but had some computer issues. My boy Lewis. Lewis, tell us about Orzock.
I'm Lewis playing Orzock, who is a ruin-bound dwarf bladelock. I know it's kind of a weird, short little guy, but he was born with a symbiote attached to him. He can't quite get it off. He's found that it guides him in certain ways, sometimes good, sometimes bad. It's all just kind of situational. It's kind of given him access to things he wouldn't normally be able to do, but yet he's still out to prove that he's not quite the curse that everyone says he is.
The symbiote dwarf from Exploring Eberron, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. All right, that is the party for what it's worth. Everybody's got a little bit of a lock or some kind of mix into them, which is good. And last and not least, let us finish up with our illustrious dungeon master, who has done quite the job of painting the terrifying picture of these poor people's fate. Sam, go ahead, take it away.
Thank you. And thank you all of those who are watching, and thank you to my wonderful players as well. Hopefully I can terrify your dreams with nightmares in the waking world, not just in the game world, from what will come from this session.
I'm fragile.
As I say, this is welled up from the dark depths of my mind, where I am obsessed with eldritch horror and eldritch madness. So hope you enjoy. But yes, we'll start with a quick recap of last session. The five of you have been on the road for a couple of weeks, having been dispatched to the village of Aigton. The village of Aigton itself is a rather prosperous farming village that feeds the capital city with a large amount of resources. It is also one of the last villages and settlements on the way into the untamed wilds. As such, expeditions and exploration groups, etc., often base themselves out of Aigton. So being so small, it is of great importance to the political narrative of the country you find yourself in, that of Aigla. I think it was Aigla. Yes. On your journey there, you had been dispatched for the exact reason of finding out why the village had fallen silent in recent times. All messages had gone without response, and no messages had reached out to any other city or village for the past couple of months now. Apart from one missive, which spoke of dreams, nightmares, terrors within the shadows, and of people going missing. A small number of groups have been dispatched before you. You are by no means the first, but none have been heard back from, and thus you are now the latest group. On your journey, 5 became 4, without no one realizing it, as you fell victim to one of the blights of this town, one of the shadows that are looming out from within the wilds. Without realizing it, time had slipped by you, memories had just passed away, and you'd lost your dwarven friend, Orzock. All knowledge of him drifting away into the ether. With being a bit unsure of what was going on, having the time jump on you and suddenly crossing great distance, you approached the village and you realized suddenly the depths of the people's torment when you saw one villager who just was wandering about, eyes blank and disassociated from everything. And a couple of you picked up that this was an escape mechanism. This individual was escaping deep into their own psyche to avoid the horrors and the terrors and the nightmares in a last-ditch attempt to maintain their fragile sanity. Venturing into the village, you met with the village elder and overheard an argument between 2 of the council members who were trying to lay blame upon the entire situation on each other. With a bit of damage being done to the village elder, you drove him into unconsciousness through a psychic attack as you had him fight against the effect that has been placed upon the town by confronting him with memories that he had lost. Those of Lord Visector, the magistrate of the village, who had just been erased from his existence, essentially, or from people's minds at least. Deciding to try and get more information, the party split up. Some of you went towards the clinic to, well, the initial plan was to interview people who had apparently returned after being captured and going missing, taking the body of the elder with you as you did so. Whereas Baxiros split off to go speak to one of the council members. Midway through his conversation with the council member, having taken the form of the elder, the council member lost all recognition of who it was, the visage that he was talking to, as in your hurry, the wraith that prowls the village had struck, seeing weakness in the elder that you held in your arms, and had killed him, and thus erased all aspects of him from reality. Something that drove deep into the psyche, not just you, not just the town people, but seemingly the very fabric of reality. Not just death, but utter removal from existence. Not quite comprehending this at the time, still being a bit unsure as to what was going on, you ventured to the clinic where you found the slight delays you had encountered meant that the sun had set and thus the doors were barred. Incense lanterns burning outside to ward off whatever terror might be in some desperate, superstitious belief. The medic you spoke to, one Sabataine, refused to give you entry and actually volunteered, though, to speak to you come the morning. Taking this on, you went to lodgings that you had been given. There you found the equipment of previous groups. It was not just that they'd fallen silent, it seems that they fell victim to the exact same thing as this elder, although you have no idea about this elder anymore. You just are aware of this gap in your thoughts and memories. And it seems this is what befell the adventurers before you. In the lodgings, you found a mirror within which was a message was scratched, telling you that to look in the reflection. And one of the windows had been boarded up. When you looked through the mirror, you saw outside of the boarded up window movement, and in peeling back some of the blockade, realized there was something shifting outside, something that you could only see in the reflection. A series of attacks ensued that seemingly had no effect. Before, I believe it was Lois, you made psychic contact with this thing, and it spoke back to you. It spoke of an archstone, a lockstone, a passage in a portal of conquest, and called you all by name, and seemed to know you all intimately. A bit shaken, but kind of resolute in that you could not really leave at this moment. You all had an uneasy night of sleep, nightmares and terrors afflicting you. Even those that should not dream will experience these terrors. Come the morning, all of you, bar Caliban, woke up with a point of exhaustion, giving you disadvantage on all skill checks. All of you, bar Caliban again, had suddenly been implanted with this compulsion to not leave, that this place was where you had to stay. As such, you kind of all came to the conclusion that you needed to fight whatever was the source of this madness and terror. Deciding not to tarry, you decided not to call at the clinic, but instead at the ranger outpost, taking a couple of maps that would lead you to the Baxiros mining camp, where it was reported that the initial incidents had apparently occurred. Venturing off into the forest, you followed the stream north. Yeah, I think it was north. No, west, sorry. Sorry about my bad. Followed the stream west till you came to this clearing, which is present on the map before you. There you met an unsightly terror, a beast, a creature, a boar of some sort that seemed to be crossed with eyes of crimson and tentacles and voids and mouth that seemed to open all over its form. It itself vanished, but crawling from the lake and crawling from the hill to your right came shadowy, misshapen, disjointed things that seemed to twitch and scurry instead of moving smoothly. The carrion hunters assaulted you, as did a second rift beast. However, you managed to prevail, coming out on top in victory. However, Caliban, when the rift beast was struck down, the fear it had consumed from the psyches of those that it had beaten and eaten in the past assaulted your mind, and you found yourself descending into the midst of madness. I believe it was for the next 10 hours. you cannot help but tremor and shake, the after effects of these visions that you had seen that your mind is blocking out to protect you, afflicting your body in a way that is most physical. And as such, you have disadvantage on, I believe it was attack rolls, skill checks, and saving throws of strength and dexterity.
Yep.
But it's not there that we are starting today's story. Instead, we jump back to the evening before, when you were still 5, and 5 of you were walking down this road, still a couple of hours out from Aigton. Orzock, sorry. Did you that notice this? A looming presence, a sense of primal terror that struck to your very soul. Before you could blink, you felt screams welling up within your mind. Madness threatening to push at the edges of your sanity. You felt blood dripping down from your nose and your eyes. You dropped to your knees in absolute pain as a shadow reared up behind you, and you lost consciousness. Your allies tried to save you, and many grabbed you, dragging you forward, running forward from whatever thing this was that you could not quite see. But in the end, you were snatched and taken, and thus the memory of you was erased. And thus the party of 4 now found themselves at Aigton. But for you, Orzock, you did not find yourself coming to consciousness on the road, but in a cave. Frigid, freezing temperatures are all around you as soon as your eyes flutter open. You hear the sound of howling wind rushing through tunnels, of dripping water, and you can feel what seems to be freezing cold manacles attached to your ankles and your wrists. You are in an empty chamber, and as you raise your head, looking upwards, your vision not quite focused, you see a towering figure clad in dark grey armor stood before you. Do you wish to say or do anything?
As I come to, I kind of start blinking, and instantly I look towards my left shoulder to see if the symbiotic eye that comes out of my shoulder is still there. Just to make sure, that it's not a dream. It's not, some sort of altered reality or anything like that. And then, and if it's still there, then I'm gonna look at the figure and ask, "Who are you? What do you want with me?"
Your symbiote is still there, but you notice, and for some reason you're not feeling it. There's almost like a pillar of ice surrounding it, attached to your shoulder, locking and freezing the symbiote in place. As you speak up, the figure turns towards you, and you see no face, but instead a skull-shaped mask that stares down at you. It is not the place of swine to ask whom their betters are. You are awake. Good. It would be a shame if you were to be killed. You shall serve well as the key to the lock. He strides towards you and reaches down, this giant hand basically grasping the entirety of your jaw and lifting your face upwards higher. So fascinating you are, a patchwork soul. The research and exploration that could come from this might raise you above your impoverished state. Swine made better, brought to a higher standard. That will come later.
Ooh, touching a nerve on that one.
Do you wish to say anything in response?
So kind of like gurgling against the grip of his hand. Don't always compare me to swine.
Oh, dear fool. I do not compare you to swine. I simply describe the label that is placed upon you by your meager existence. Mortal, so tempted by your addictions, by your lusts and desires, your breeds, your swine, filth, riling in your own excretions. But no matter. For soon you may have a higher calling. I thank you. It has been most fortunate that you brought with you the lockstone we once had. A son returned to the fold once more. Thank you, swine. Thank you for being the bait in the trap, if they do not come by will alone. You can feel with every word his grip tightening more and more, to the point it almost feels like your jaw is about to shatter beneath these armored fingers. You have final words, swine.
They will come for me.
He just leans down close to you, and for the first time you see over his shoulder, there's some disturbance in the air. Some large, enormous shape that seems almost like whipping white winds. Almost too big to fit within this cavern is looming above him, staring down upon you with bright red eyes that match the bright red eyes that flare now from behind this helmeted visage. I am counting on that, swine. And you feel just a burst of freezing cold wrap around you. You feel something deep within your body, not physical, but metaphysical, seems to be tugged forwards. In its excruciating pain, you find your consciousness fading once more. And you drift away into darkness.
Thud as I hit the ground.
We jump back now into this clearing. The next day, after this confrontation between Orcaz and the figure. Orzock, sorry, I keep getting the name wrong, ignore me. Orzock on the figure. You are recovering from your fight, and you, Caliban, are afflicted by these tremors and shakes that seem to run through you. The after effects of the fear, this primal fear you just went through. You know that the mining camp is a short way ahead of you. No more than 10 minutes, you imagine, over a couple of hills, in fact. What do you all wish to do?
Clearly, they're putting obstacles in our path.
I don't know, guys. Maybe we should turn back. Maybe we're in too deep. I don't know if I can keep going, man. I don't know if I can keep doing this.
And you're visibly trembling, yes? Like, okay. Caliban, what's the matter with you? This isn't like you. You're cautious, sure, but this turn back, it's not you. Are you okay?
I don't think so, man. Something got me, man. Something got me.
I mean, something's gotten all of us. I just...
It's a fear that I've never felt before.
They're just trying to dissuade us. They want us to run. They know we're coming for them.
Maybe they're right. Maybe we should run.
We don't get paid if we run.
We've never
We don't
run
get paid
before.
if we die.
And we've never run before.
I'm pretty sure we'll die if we don't go after them. Look what's happened to everyone else already. We stay in that town, we die.
Living in that town may be worse. Caliban, are you gonna be able to do this? Are you okay?
Let me just get my bearings. Caliban will take a little bit of liquid courage from his flask.
The answer to all of life's problems.
The cause of and solution to all of life's problems.
Can I, like, if we've been traveling together for a while, and this is the first time I'm seeing Caliban scared like this, can I look to see what it might be? Is it something more than just he saw something, like, physically, if it's something, mental?
So all of you around the Rift Beast when it felt this kind of wash of fear and terror run over you, essentially, but all of you but Caliban shook it off. You could probably ascertain that what is happening to Caliban is probably the result of whatever aftershock there was of this creature's death and dissolvement. Whether it's after effects of seeing something, whether it's a affliction upon him. If you want to make me an insight check, you can try and ascertain how natural this reaction is.
Ooh,
So did you say at the start that this was the next day?
10.
10. This seems, to you, Lois, this seems almost just a natural response to the fear. And also, the next day, as in you arrived at the town yesterday. This is the next day now.
Okay, but we didn't
second
arrive.
day here.
Okay.
Oh, what was I saying?
No,
All right.
not yet.
I can push on this, but
Man up. Let's go.
Okay. As you all push on, cresting this hill and the next, you start to see stretching out before you in a slight valley. Rising up before you is a cliff face of a much larger hill, more mountain, had been occluded by the trees beforehand. You can see there's a area where the trees have been cut away, and tents start to reach your eyes. And if I swap the map, you see, keep describing while it loads, you see a smattering of smaller tents and one larger tent each. It seems this kind of dip before the rise in this larger hill or small mountain, I suppose. It seems there's a couple of levels in this forested section of ground, and at the topmost level there's a larger, almost like you imagine it must be either an administration tent or something like that, has been set up, and then smaller, as a larger, much more large number, a smaller tent laid below for those that were taking part in the mining. You can also see before you, kind of with the natural topography funneling towards it, there is a cave mouth that stands about 20 to 30 feet tall. I don't know, has the map loaded for you all?
just did.
Yeah, I
Put
can
it
see
on
it.
my browser, but not in Zoom.
Okay.
Yeah, Manny's the one that's lagging behind.
Yeah, that's if everybody can see it, that's
I'll
fine.
keep describing. Okay. So these tents are the first thing to catch your eye. The second thing are the bodies. Male, female, human, dwarf, elf. You see a couple dragonborn, all sorts. The people of this camp, the bodies are just strewn out everywhere. Some are in pools of blood, wounds tattering their form, mainly on the eyes and the throat. Some are just collapsed on the ground, a expression of pure terror frozen on their faces, their final moments spent in almost spiritual agony. And yet stranger still are the others, those that are there with blood under their fingernails and on their hands, with a rictus smile, a mockery of a grin of pure enjoyment and pleasure stretching across their frozen features. And the bodies are just strewn everywhere before you.
So many dead.
I guess, I mean, we've all noticed this, I would say.
Yes, as you approach, it's hard to miss it. The carnage here is obvious.
Do we see any?
You guys.
Do we see like signs of a fight, or does it look like they just dropped it where they were standing?
Make
Like, are they
me a investigation check.
The way he's describing it, I'm kind of getting the impression that maybe the other people, like half the people had like a grin, like they killed the other people.
22 on the investigation.
Okay. You get the idea that what was just said is probably what's actually happened. Some were driven to death by their own terror. Some spent their final moments clawing at their throats, their eyes, their very bodies. And some was just snapped in the face of whatever afflicted them and just fell into a blind ecstasy of killing. No weapons, just you can see from their hands and fingernails and claws for some of the more, for the races that do have them. They just fell upon each other like beasts, just ripping and tearing at one another. And it's just a scene of horror stretching before you. The epicenter of whatever shadow has stretched out.
I look.
You all stand there. You blink, and where there was before nothing, you now see something clinging about 30 feet above the ground to the side of this hill. You see a creature that is hard for you to describe. This thing is long and almost amorphous, its form shifting and quivering, almost as if it's not quite yet settled and made. You can see bloodied spines and an imitation and mockery of ribs that just form where there should be a chest, and yet there is just bone. You see long limbs, almost like tails, whipping out behind it, stretching up into the sky. Some end in almost like a tail, some end in vicious claws, some just seem to fade away into shadow. But for all of you, it is the head that is most terrifying. You see a shape that you cannot describe, almost like a shell that you're peering into. And within that darkness, you see features rising and bubbling forth and then being subsumed by the shadows once more, constantly shifting, constantly altering eyes, noses, mouths. Every feature you can ever imagine just seems to bubble forth and make mockeries of faces. Within this shifting, ever-present change, you also see your own faces bubbling forth every now and then. This constant changing is surrounded by a crown of inky black tendrils, almost like hair, that seems to wave in a non-existent breeze. and a cloud of nebulae almost seems to bleed off of its form. You swear you see stars, you see dust clouds from the outer cosmos itself. Though it's not opaque, it is translucent, so you can see the rock wall behind it. But every now and then, you swear you see something dark shifting within that cosmos. Unless this thing is suddenly perched on the side and staring down at you all. Each of you hear within your minds a piercing cacophony of whispers, each rushing over one another, unable to make out what is said, unable to tell if it's even language. This cascade seems just ring within your ears, to the point you feel like you almost have to clasp them, even though you know it is not actually audible. And as this sound continues to screech, almost driving you to your knees, you watch as one tendril reaches down. One of the shadowy ones reaches down, seems to disappear into one of the bodies, and slowly lifts it up like a marionette being drawn up by its strings. You watch as the silence returns and the whispers fade, as this corpse's head jolts upwards suddenly. Eyes faded milky white, jaw hanging open as it stares at you all. I've got to try and do the voice. Welcome to my master. Welcome. The voice seems to come out with final gasps of breath from this corpse. A puppet's being pulled by its strings.
I think just to stick with character reference, Baxiros is just going to go ballistic right now because he doesn't like zombies. I'm just going to freak right out. I'm going to hide kind of like behind Caliban and immediately fire an Eldritch Blast.
Of all the people to hide behind.
You're a fighter. You probably have a shield. I'm like, that's what I'm thinking. So I'm like, zombie! That was the one thing I put in my backstory, right? So I gotta stick with it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. If you fire me Eldritch Blast, please roll me your attacks.
Sorry, just attack? Or initiative?
Yep, well, just the attacks first.
Okay.
Resolve them first. Then if you want to go into initiative, if everyone wants to go into initiative, we will begin initiative.
27 to hit.
All right, 27 hits. More damage.
Seven. I gotta do it 5 times, right? Or
3. Although you roll to hit for every one.
oh, yes, that's right. Yes. Okay.
There's the first hits.
21.
21 hits.
8. So 7 and 8. And then 22 to hit.
That one hits.
So 7, 8, and 14.
Okay. Now, if everyone wants to go into combat, please roll me initiative. I'll just say in response to these
I don't
hits,
know. I had to do the backstory.
The creature does not shift at all in response to these hits. Just still stands or clings staring at you all. His body held aloft before it.
And it's
you guys can tell me to stop being so scared. That's up to you.
It's using the corpse like as a mouthpiece, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. 11.
Yeah, that's fucked.
Yeah. I was like, I just wanted to make sure. 11 for initiative.
6.
Okay.
I rolled a 1 and a 2, and I have disadvantage.
I also rolled a 6. I have.
Okay. And
got a 14.
Okay. The creature goes first. You watch as within this amorphous face, the shadows seem to gather for a moment, but nothing more happens as the stars above it seem to flare suddenly for a moment. Its form once more kind of shifting and jittering, it's almost like it's on low FPS, if that makes sense. Like you're not quite catching every movement it's making. It seems to jolt from place to place. And it makes no attack, and instead the body speaks once more. My master would see you all. You are welcome. We have your ally. Enter and meet your fate. And that's its turn. Kalinari, what do you wish to do?
Let's see, with poor Caliban tremoring in fear, and now Baxiros also quite nearly soiling himself. Kalinari will upcast a heroism spell to 2nd level, touching each of them, granting them immunity to being frightened, and at the start of each of their turns, they gain 5 temp HP.
Okay. It has no effect on the trembling, Caliban. Yes, you gain your temporary points and are enlightened. Anything else you wish to do, Kalinari?
Does that mean?
No. Oh, sorry, you said something, Nick?
Yeah, I thought you said Caliban.
Oh, no, my bad. If I did, my bad. Lovis, you're up.
I don't like this one bit. Like, I don't. It's like, I don't like this.
All right, man.
I was like, we're far away. Can't really do anything. Our fighter's terrified. We forgot we lost somebody. Like, Jesus. I'm just gonna move. Just kind of get in position since we're exceptionally far. I'm gonna.
Yeah, how far would this be on the map?
I'm gonna dash. 60 feet puts me about
90 feet.
60 feet puts me about here.
Yep.
So I'm gonna dash. It's looking at us. Yeah, it's not like it's going about its business. It's clearly looking at us. And
It's looking at.
Okay.
Yep. And clearly addressing you. And as you run, its head does go to follow you. Although for the rest of you swear it's still staring at you. To your eyes, Lois, it is following your movement.
Okay. I'm gonna take the dash to right here, like in the middle, kind of a little bit behind this outcropping, and keep it in my peripheral vision, but maybe not make direct eye contact with it.
Okay.
All right. All right. Next time we're bringing the thunder. All right. That's it.
Yep. All right. I think next up would probably be Baxiros. Oh, I don't know who between Baxiros and Caliban who has the highest dex.
I got +3.
It's 5.
Yeah, I was about to say it's probably the guy who specializes in ranged weapons.
I realized it as soon as I said it. But yeah, so Caliban, you're up first.
Caliban will, out of fear, he'll run his 30 feet up. 30 feet? Do I have mobile? 35 feet. He'll run his 35 feet up to get to here, and then he'll try to take a shot, even though he's not going to do very well.
Good. So
Just out of pure fear, he's going to fire at it. It's going to be a 4 plus whatever my modifier is, 13, so 17.
17 misses. The shot just you lined the shot up perfectly, but the tremors just pull your aim off to one side slightly, and you watch as just a spray of dust apart of the stone just is shattered from the bullet.
So he'll quickly reload and try again. The 23, 10 plus 13.
That hits. More damage.
Oh,
Is your weapon magical?
yes.
Okay, good to know.
That'll be an 18 piercing damage.
Okay.
And he'll make one last shot.
Good.
18 plus 13, so this could be another hit.
That'll hit.
For
Yeah, that'll hit.
another 16 damage.
Okay. End of your
Yeah,
turn,
he'll-
Baxiros.
Just in fear, he'll fire wildly.
Yep. Baxiros, you're up.
Okay, so based on how far he went, I'm assuming I would go like over here would be about 35 feet or 30 feet because I don't want to go towards. I want to get more away from the zombies, but also move. And then I'm going to fire Eldritch Blast at the giant monster controlling them. So that's
Go ahead.
going to be 19 to hit.
19 will hit.
12.
12 points of damage. All right.
29 to hit. That'll hit, I'm assuming.
Yep, that'll hit. More damage.
14. So 12 and 14, we got 26. And then the last one is 22 to hit. For another 12. So 38.
Okay. As you all lay into it, this thing does not flinch even the slightest. Bullets or Eldritch Blast has no reaction. It's now its turn. It just seems to look deep into your soul for a moment. And the corpse chuckles. Very well. A lesson must be taught. The swine. You watch as the stars from the cosmos above it seem to flare for a moment before you realize they're not stars, they are comets falling through the endless boundaries of space. Comets which pierce through the veil and slam into the material plane. Tiny comets, yes, but comets nevertheless that pierce down towards each of you. So, let me double check something. Attack modifier. Okay. So, Baxiros. Natural 20 for 28. You take... Ooh, that was... So that was 4 ones on the dice. So you take 8 points of damage from the crit.
Okay.
That was lucky. Caliban.
Well, there's my 5 temp and 3 more.
Does 21 hit?
Shield cast.
Yep. You deflect this meteor away from you. Kalinari. 26.
Yep.
Okay, you take 12, 13, 18 points of bludgeoning damage as the meteor slams into you. And Lois? 24 to hit.
Yes.
You take...
Just to check, Sam. So they're ranged attacks. They're coming and hitting us.
Yeah, ranged spell attacks.
All right, because I take half damage from all ranged attacks.
Oh, yep. I can't remember what I said for your damage was. Lois, you take 11 points of damage. Also, my earphones are dying. Give me a second. Need to swap source.
That's not good. All right.
So my earphones are just dying on me. Okay. End of its turn. It's just going to drop the corpse to the ground. And yeah, that's what it does. Kalinari, what do you wish to do?
Well, once again, noticing that his companions have all managed to get so very, very far from each other. He's going to move up and try to at least protect a couple of them from their own stupidity.
Good luck with that.
Save me from myself.
Let's see. How far is the big bad guy? 60 feet. Okay. And Kalinari will reach out and try to hit it with a chill touch spell.
Okay.
That is a 21 to hit.
21 hits. Roll damage.
That is 17 necrotic damage, and it's unable to heal until my next turn.
Okay. Is that your turn?
Mm-hmm.
All right. End of your turn, it's going to take its legendary action. It is going to... Yeah, the gathering darkness within its face is going to deepen all the more. And... Who should I give this to? Baxiros. Could you make me a wisdom saving throw, please?
Sure can.
And luckily now I'm close enough to give you +5.
Oh, okay. So 15.
15 fails.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, wait. I have +1 on saves, too. So that would be 16.
Still fails, unfortunately.
Okay.
You all watch as Baxiros just drops to the ground. You are unconscious and asleep.
Well, at least I don't have to fight any more zombies. So.
All right.
Kalinari. Caliban, you're up. I think. No, Lois, sorry.
I am going to take my 30 feet of... It's accessible if I'm like physically adjacent to... It's not like up on a cliff or anything. Like if I make...
It is up on the cliff. It is at quite a distance.
Okay, so...
It's, yeah, kind of perched. If you get right up to it, you could probably reach kind of one of the tendrils, because the tendril is still kind of whipping near the ground, so you could still technically hit it.
All right.
Yeah, I'll say if you get up right to it, you can still hit it.
Okay. I'll say I have a glaive with also 10-foot reach, if that makes it a little
Yeah,
easier.
if that would, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'll say that would make sure you can hit it, yeah.
I'm going to make my full movement up here, and seeing that now Bax is down, Caliban is terrified, and I can't remember that we forgot somebody. I'm going to wail on it. Do you guys get me? You did get me, Polar Master. Yeah, I'm gonna slash at it with my glaive.
Yep.
Ooh, nat 20.
Nice. Nice.
All right, so that would be very nice. All right, 1d, so 16 plus d10, 19, 6. It's gonna be 25 slashing damage with my glaive.
Nice. Is that magical?
Yes. And
nice.
it's the bonus action. I'm gonna boop the tendril, if that's a thing.
Yep. Yeah. No, you can boot the tendril.
Okay. That's gonna be a 26 to hit.
That'll hit. You get the idea. This thing is quite easy to hit.
It's gonna be another 10 damage.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna turn to look to see.
Is that your turn?
Yes, and then I'm gonna make sure as best I can from this distance to see if Baxiros is dead, and then kind of glance at Caliban and make sure he's still whatever.
Hey, Manny, how many attacks did you make?
Just the one. And then my bonus action to boop.
You have
I get 2.
extra attack.
I do.
Extra attack, yeah. Make another attack.
Yeah. What up? Yeah, thanks. That's gonna be a 14.
Okay, that'll miss. 14 will miss.
Womp womp.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Okay,
embarrassing me,
turn.
man. Appreciate it.
End of your turn, it's going to take another legendary action. And yep. You watch as it seems to flicker, fade, and vanish for a moment. And reappears looming above the 3 of you. As it comes out, you watch as one of the tendrils whips down towards Baxiros. Since you're unconscious, this is at advantage, and if it hits, it will be a crit. Okay, that actually might miss. Let me double check.
21 is my AC.
Yep. To hit. 21, you said?
Yeah.
23.
Oh, you better.
Oof, just. I thought that might miss for a second there. So you take double dice because of the crit. Where's my dice? Where's my D10? There it is. Do you take 26 points of damage?
Ooh.
Oh, so you barely touched me.
And you wake up to find yourself grappled. This tendril just enveloping you. You can feel the claws digging into your flesh, essentially holding you in place. Also, make me a Constitution saving throw, please, as you feel this aberrant force pressing against your flesh.
23, because I got 22, plus I get 1 on saves.
Yeah, and don't
you managed
forget
to
your
resist
+5.
Oh, and I get the +5 on con too? I thought that was just wisdom.
It's all saving throws as long as you're close to me.
Okay, so it's 28 then.
It's legendary action done. We now go to Caliban.
So did the 28 win or bad?
Yeah. Oh no, that easily succeeded. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
All right, Caliban is gonna fire away as much as he can. Still trembling. Wow, 6 and 6, 6, 13, 19.
19 hits.
For the damage. That'll be low. 9.
Okay.
Second shot. This time he's going to try to steal himself and do sharpshooter for a -5. 26, 21.
21 hits, 4 damage.
That's my first sharpshooter ever, by the way. That'll be 13 plus 10, so 23. Hi, Daisy. And final
Nice.
shot. He's not going to risk the sharpshooter on this one, just a regular shot. Oh, that's not going to do good. 17.
Yeah, that one misses. That one goes wide.
Yeah. And then, yeah, that'll do it. That'll be his turn.
Okay. Baxiros, you're up.
Yeah, I didn't like getting smacked around there, so I'm gonna kind of move away a little bit. I like to hide.
You are
behind-
grappled. You're grappled. You can't move.
Oh, I thought I got out of it with the.
That was
No,
for
you
something
resisted.
worse.
Yep.
Oh.
You resisted the aberrant effect.
Oh.
That was
Okay.
something way worse.
Okay.
Don't forget about your 5 temp HP, by the way, Bax.
Yeah, you get 5.
Okay. All right. So I want to try to break free of the grapple.
Make me a strength check.
No.
Or athletics or acrobatics.
Athletics.
At disadvantage because you are exhausted.
Level 1. Oh, nice. 16 is my.
Okay. It rolled 24. You are still grappled. This thing is, despite how frail it looks, you are just feeling how much strength actually has compacted in its form.
Okay. So that was my action. Can
Yep.
I cast while I'm grappled?
If you have something as a bonus action, yes.
Yeah. I'm gonna hex it.
Okay, you hex it. What's that? It's a save of a Constitution save there, right? Was it Wisdom?
There is no saving throw for Hex.
Is there
No.
not? Oh, I misremembered the spell. Okay, you hex it. Let me double check. And then you choose the attribute, right? I always forget
Yeah,
this.
you pick one of the 6 to have disadvantage on.
Yep. So yeah, strength, dex, con, whiz, int, or charisma.
Let's go with strength because I'm grappled and I want out.
Okay. Anything else?
No, well,
Your
that's
turn.
all I can do.
Okay.
so.
End of your turn. It is now the Lisserai's turn. Yep. It is going to go to crush you, Baxiros, since you're held in its grasp. Which is it automatically does it. I forgot about that bit. So you take 14 points of bludgeoning damage as you are crushed by this tendril. And a tendril each is going to whip out towards Caliban and Kalinari, since you're both stood right there. So Kalinari, that is a 23.
Yep.
You take... God, I'm losing all my dice. There. You take... Sorry, give me a second. 21 points of bludgeoning damage and are grappled. I need you to make me a Constitution saving throw.
$21.
Okay, you avoid the effect as it tries to permeate into your form. And Caliban, against you, that is a 19.
The hits.
Okay. You take 8 to 16 points of bludgeoning damage and are grappled. Make me a Constitution saving throw.
18.
Plus 5.
23.
You avoid whatever effect it was going to have on you.
So whatever.
I do what I want.
And with that done,
So do I take away my temp HP first or my regular?
Temp.
your
Temp always first.
Temp first? Okay. So get rid of the 5 and then another.
Yep, that's going to end its turn. So next up is Kalinari. You're grappled by it. What do you wish to do?
So first, I'm going to, as a bonus action, use my Hexblade's Curse class feature. So I can deal extra damage to it. And then I will make a couple of swings at it with my magical longsword.
Okay then.
First one is at 13.
13 will miss.
Second is a 16.
16 will miss.
Yeah, that was a 2 and a 5 on the die. Like impressively bad.
Not my best effort.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Okay, end of your turn. It's going to take a legendary action. The 3 of you who are grappled feel the bindings around you just vanish. As you all watch the creature just form flicker and seems to dissolve into smoke and mist. You all hear a final part of your whisper, cascade of whispers once more in your mind, but this time you can make out words. The master awaits you within. You all pause for a second, waiting for this thing to return. It does not.
That's right. I scared it away.
That wasn't such a chore,
Nice.
now was it?
Do you wish to maintain initiative or Do you let your wariness or your expectation of combat dissolve?
I'm gonna be a little.
I would-
I'm gonna be a little hesitant.
Yes, relieved that the fight is over. He was putting up a front that entire initiative.
I'm pretty skeptical right now. I just got the shit beat out of me by this thing. I'm on edge. I'm not really like I'm on guard still.
You wait 6 seconds, 30, a minute, 2. As the seconds tick by, it does not return.
Okay. The longer it goes, the more I'm gonna turn to be now concerned for the party, for everybody else, as opposed to looking out for whatever the hell that thing was.
Yeah.
You
Um,
you all stood within this camp of death and madness, the yawning hole of the mine before you.
he said, "Our comrade awaits." Was there another? Didn't we? Don't we have another?
You all remember that you did find within, I think it was Kalinari. You were carrying
I've got the dagger.
You were carrying an extra set of equipment, and within it you found a, what was it?
Dwarven dagger or small sword with his name on it.
And it was a medallion as well with his name on it, yeah.
Very well done.
See his white knuckles gripping his rifle. Caliban steels himself and says, "We don't have a choice anymore. We have to go in there and finish it off. Fight off its master, whatever it has. When we come back out here, we can worry about these bodies and burying them and burning them, but we don't have a choice. We got to go in there."
I want to look around and like see, are my comrades pretty beat up too, or am I the only one with damage?
I'm not well. I can solve my own problems though. Like, can I? Jeez. Yo, dog, you guys did not give a damn about making me any help as a healer, did you?
I got healing. That's why.
And Manny, I don't know if we've neglected to tell you this before. 5e does not have healers. They don't exist. Forget about them.
Dude,
they all suck.
I got 25 points of lay on hand. That's all I got.
25 points is one
so
attack.
I'm gonna tell everyone to gather up, and I'm gonna cast prayer healing.
Okay. Love it.
You take the moment to cast your spell. Go ahead with all the healing.
So everybody gets 23 points back.
I will take that.
Oh shoot. That's pretty close to max for me.
Do you wish to do anything else, or do you all get ready to head within the cave?
Should we short rest?
I mean, I don't.
Yeah, the idea of sitting down to take a nap next to the death camp just outside the mine of eldritch horrors. Yeah, that sounds like a very relaxing time for everybody.
I mean, if you want to, you can certainly take a rest. I can't promise it will be restful, but by all means.
He wants us to.
I say we go.
You see Caliban fix bayonet. And let's do this.
As you all venture forth and stepping into the cave, which I don't really have a map for, I don't think. I have the interior cave, not the entrance. Okay. As you step forth into the cave, the first thing you notice immediately is it is much colder in here than you were expecting. Almost as if stepping into a industrial freezer. That sudden change of temperature is noticeable and unexpected. You can feel soft kind of breeze pushing past you, whereas you felt none when you just even standing a few feet away. you only first noticed this as soon as you stepped within, and this breeze is coming from deeper within. You can see mine tracks and mine carts are set off to one side, a couple of pickaxes and the like. This was obviously a mining operation. It seems to be following a natural cave structure, but you can definitely see areas where man-made adjustments have been made, though pillars and struts have been set in. This was definitely a mine, and they were working here when they awoken or uncovered whatever was found within the depths. As you all venture deeper, you all fall into a formation as you enter a tunnel. This cave, so far at least, does not seem to have any different paths. It's a singular path so far. And before you, you can see the flickering of fire as the cave seems to widen once more into a natural chamber. The air is quiet, silent but for your footfalls, and the faint sound of a river, underground river, rushing ahead. Quite a bit ahead, not where the firelight is, but beyond that. What do you all wish to do?
At this point, Kalinari is feeling rather impatient. This entire thing has just kept us on edge for the better part of 2 days, and he's just wanting to press ever deeper to come face to face with whatever this thing is that seems to want to hide in the shadows.
Caliban is in the same boat. He wants to get rid of this fear one way or another. Either he'll defeat the source of it or he'll die. Either way, it'll be a relief.
Okay. Imagine as the two of them push on, the other two of you follow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As you step forth into this chamber, you're confronted not with an enemy, as you might have been expecting. This chamber is a small one. You can see there's two branching paths coming off it. The one to the left, however, has been collapsed, so leaving the right path only. Most importantly, however, off to one side, seemingly sealed behind a plane of ice, you see a dwarven figure. Bald, large beard, and with a strange growth from one shoulder. As you look upon this figure, you all feel a spike of pain be driven through your temple. You each take 3 points of psychic damage as you are confronted with that which memory you had lost. Though you do not recognize him, you just from this sensation of your mind being shook, each of you have the assumption that this is your missing ally.
How many psychic damage?
Three psychic. What do you all wish to do? It seems he's just held behind a sheet of ice, essentially, affixed to a wall.
Are we able to remember his name when we see him?
You get the faint recollection, like this is someone you once saw before, but no memories return.
So there's some sort of ice
Familiarity.
barrier that is between us.
Essentially, yes. It looks like very thin, almost like a good strike would shatter it on impact. But it's just like kind of holding his body to the wall.
He's not like frozen, like completely enveloped in ice. He's in something, and then there's just something in between him and us. That's it.
It's hard to tell.
Okay.
The refraction of the light makes it unclear if there's an air pocket or if he's just entirely enveloped.
So we can't speak to him either? Like
It seems unconscious.
Okay.
I'm gonna smash at it with my glaive.
Okay. Roll to attack.
Yeah. It's gonna be 22.
I was gonna say, so long as you didn't get that one, you're fine.
Okay.
As soon as your glaive makes contact with this ice, where you expected resistance, you find none, as immediately it just shatters into nothingness. you expected shards to litter the ground, but as they kind of fall through the air, they dissolved into dust and then just are gone. Not even a fine dust left, essentially. Orzock, you feel your body impact to the ground suddenly. That last visage of that masked figure looming strong in your mind. You feel a burning in your throat as if you can't breathe and choking and gasping, fighting to get that breath in. You retch and retch over and over, fighting desperately to breathe. And just on the verge of where you feel like you're about to pass out again, you take a deep inhale, taking control of your body once more, and just kneel on the ground, breathing heavily, your mind almost swimming with lightheadedness. And as you raise your head, you behold the figures of your allies standing before you.
And all we have is just like a recognition. That's it.
A recognition and a name, essentially, is all you have.
So you're gonna see me kind of like, just kind of like us, just this look of almost fear and enjoyment at the same time, like come across my face as I see you, as I like come to.
As he kind of looks up, you recognize us, yes?
Yes.
Okay, because how did you get here? How do we know each other?
What do you mean? We were all here making money. I thought that's you don't know who I am. I start to look around at all of you, and as you hear me say it, you hear me almost say it directly to your mind. You don't remember the conversations we've had. You don't remember any of this, and half of this is out loud and half of this is in your mind.
As you're looking at them, Orzock, you see no hint of recognition. They're gazing at you with apprehension and wariness and curiosity. You realize you're being stared at. You realize that staring out of the faces of your friends, you see the eyes of strangers. And on that realization, we will go to a quick break.
Awesome. Okay. All right. This thing just keeps getting deeper and deeper into the mystery, and still don't know what's going on, but that's awesome. All right. It is
fun, right?
Yeah, I don't get to play very much, so like this whole thing, Raz and I talked about this the other day. Like not knowing what's going on is a thing in and of itself, especially when it's even more confounded by like literally being the point. So yeah. All right. Cool. It is 8:27. We will take a 10-minute break. We will come back with our reunited party finally. Somebody who doesn't know that we don't know them, and hopefully saving not only ourselves but the people of this poor village from whatever the hell is going on. So it's 8:28. We will be right back in about 10 minutes. Thanks to everybody who's tuned in on this special night against our usual schedule. So anybody who's come out, we really appreciate you kind of dealing with this. Thank you so much. We will see everybody in about 10 minutes. Hopefully everybody sticks around.
Go back.
All right, we are back after our break, and let's throw it back to our Dungeon Master for the continuation of our awesome adventure. Take it away.
Yes. So, Orc, as you have just found yourself, I'll get the name right eventually. You've just found yourself on the ground, coughing, spluttering, almost like you just haven't been able to breathe for a long time, looking up at the faces of your allies and realizing they do not recognize you for some reason. They seem to be treating you as if you were a stranger.
What do you mean you don't know me? We've been traveling together for quite some time. Uh, the last thing I remember is we were we were headed to a town. Um, they they were gonna pay us like 400 gold to solve some problem they had, and that's the last thing I remember. I woke up in chains, being told that we're the key to something. Uh, I don't know. I don't understand, and by the looks of it, I don't understand why the hell you don't know who I am.
At the mention of him mentioning something about a key, I'm gonna have a trigger. Did it mention the keystone?
It, I, I don't
You
remember
remember
that much.
what was said for you was the key to the lock.
Okay. It spoke to me as well, and mentioned something about a key. What you experienced doesn't exactly fill that out, but I think they're connected somehow. And your story about us going to the village to save them is true. I can't recall you being with us. It's always been the four of us.
No, it's been the five of us, and five just rings in all of your heads if you're within 30 feet of me.
In fairness, it wouldn't be the first thing we'd forgotten in the last few days.
Something's wrong with us. Stranger, can you name us?
Can I name you? Can I name you? Loris, Calamari, Caliban, and Bax. Who else? Who else would I be talking to?
Well, seems to add up to me. This guy definitely knows who we are.
Yeah, something's fucking with our heads. I think we got to take this guy's word for it because he knows more than we do.
Well, if you are who you say you are, and Kalinari will pull out the blade that he found yesterday, I believe this belongs to you.
Thank you. This was a present when I left. I appreciate that.
Can you fight?
More than ever. And do I look down, and is my symbiote still like frozen?
It was when you first collapsed out. As you've been talking, again, you've not even felt this happening, but the ice has kind of begun to melt away. And at this point, it is entirely gone. So your symbiote is untethered.
All right. So kind of like you'll see it just kind of like shrink down, like, and kind of like go into like where would be like the between the neck and the collarbone. He has kind of like a very
Oh shit.
the eye kind of like recedes down into his shirt line, and you just kind of like see like this glint from like underneath his shirt for a short being, and you'll just kind of hear him in like a hushed voice and just go, "No, it's fine. I understand." And you'll see me kind of like reach down to my side, and kind of like this black like spiking comes out of my hand as I grab my axe and pull it out. I very much would like to kill something now.
Don't let us get in your way.
Lead the way.
Oh, that's not me. I don't lead. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna move down this way towards.
You're technically just off the map at the moment, coming into the map as you all move forward. I didn't have a map of where you were, unfortunately.
Okay.
Well, I did have one, I just didn't upload it. So,
All right.
anyway, my unpreparedness aside, as you all continue on, leaving behind the small chamber with the burning braziers, that small breeze you'd felt begins to pick up. As soon as it's like you're walking in a rainstorm, a kind of heavy wind that seems to bite at your exposed flesh is whipping past you and biting into you. As you venture deeper in, it seems the strength of this breeze is getting stronger and stronger. Following the cart rails from the mine itself, you head deeper and deeper into the hill. The deeper you go, the colder it gets, and soon you start to hear faint whispering at the edge of your hearing, and a faint hissing song that's familiar to most of you. You eventually see the tunnel start to open up before you, the roaring of the underground river now ringing in your ears as you step forth into what you see on the map. As you enter, your eyes do not go to the river or the bridge, but instead to a floating shape across from you. You just see drifting through the air a swarm of eyeballs, just each one kind of bouncing off each other, just drifting almost peacefully right in front of you. As you all step forth, all the eyes lock onto you, but there's no other reaction.
Stay close, fellows. I'm sure this is another affront to nature.
Aye, aye.
I chuckle at that joke and I say, "Do you think he sees us?"
You move deeper in.
Yes.
Yeah. Keep my
Move your-
shield up and
Move as one unit.
Yeah.
Alright. Boom.
As you move forward, you look to your right and your left
Oh shit.
and see two others. As you get closer to the bridge, a third. All four of them now are just staring at you, drifting peacefully in place. Just watching. As you step onto the bridge, I'll just move you all in the area.
Do we want?
You hear the sound.
Do we want to go past the ones that we see? Like, do we want them behind us? I feel like strategically we might not want to do that.
I'm
you
kind
get
of
to-
hoping they leave us alone.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah.
Yeah. They haven't moved. They're just being creepy and staring at us. That's it.
Yep, it's these swarms of eyes just whipping through the air, lazily drifting through the air, just staring at you.
Probably on the.
Did you hear the sound of water being disturbed from beneath? And two creatures rear out. You see long, almost squid-like forms of pure bleach white, just drifting through the water. You watch as what seems to be their head rears out. You see a fleshy maw going down their chest, and you swear within it you see the visage of skulls. These things just seem to also stare at you with their eyeless faces. be welcome, be welcome. Enter. Welcome. The whispers just seem to rise over each other, now in a volume you can make out.
Perhaps we should pick up the pace.
Yeah.
Yeah, but stay together. But yeah, we need to keep moving.
Yeah.
You see, dropping from the ceiling,
Oh fuck!
smaller versions seem to form, and from out this tunnel, another, all just stepping forward or dropping from ceilings, from among the stalactites, mites, whatever, from the natural structures of the cave, and just staring at you. You can move your tokens as you see fit.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say. I was like to the end of the bridge, and let's see what shows up now.
So as I walk across, I want to very, very cockily, like, oops, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to kind of cockily bow to them, like as they're like, "Hey, what's going on?" Because they're saying welcome, right? So
Well,
I'm
let's
like,
see. So far, we have eye monsters and mouth monsters. So next, we'll probably have noses or ears
I was
coming
gonna
out of the
I was
fucking
gonna
wall.
go with ears.
As soon as who will be the first off the bridge? By
I guess
token.
it'll be me by
Yep. Okay.
by token.
As soon as you step off, you notice the eye swarm to your right seems to jolt for a moment before rushing forward to envelop you. There. So let me just find the stat block.
Envelop.
Guardian of the Winter Eyes. They just wrap around you suddenly, and you feel a tug at your eye sockets.
Ugh.
Oh.
Can you make me a Constitution saving throw, please?
Yes, I can.
Oh.
Yep.
16.
Okay. You go temporarily blind in one eye for a moment, and it feels like as if it's almost been trying to be torn from your head as these things just whip around you faster and faster and faster.
All right, was that a saving throw? I got distracted.
Yes.
Yes.
Because I don't know if you remember, Lewis, the +5 to saving
Oh.
throws.
Then that would be
It's the same effect.
21.
It's the same effect.
Okay.
Basically, you
Temporarily.
saved against having your eye torn out.
All right.
Oh.
Congratulations.
Just like temporarily blinded though, so like
Just
I
as you-
kind of like
Just
get that
poked
like
you in the eye.
like yes.
As you realize now where these swarms seem to come from, where all these different eyes have been taken and harvested from. Before any of you can act, however, you watch as the creature down here in the water seems to wrap in on itself and forms right next to you, and you all hear a piercing screech. Yeah, with a almost concussive force that somehow misses you, Lewis. Almost as if, not Lewis, Orzock, almost as if shaped to do so. The eyes are literally just blown apart, the swarm scattered immediately, singular eyes dropping down into the water and across the ground. And as this wrathful scream of whispers seems to shout out, the swarm being destroyed in a singular moment. Which I can't, there is. The creature that formed just seems to rear up a bit. And if it could bow, you imagine that's what it's doing. This action, which is so aberrant in its form, yet it seems to bow to you in apology, maybe? And those same whispers continue. Welcome. Be welcome. The master waits. Enter.
Seems like you got a couple of bad eggs among the ranks. And I'll just continue traveling, like still holding my eye, just kind of like, oh.
Now that you're outside of the Garden of Winter Eyes, your vision does return.
Yeah, I'm
Although
still
the
just
pain
like,
remains.
having that sensation is still just, yeah, no.
Do the rest of you wish to do anything?
Still quick stepping. Fuck this
Yep.
place.
Yep. As you pass, I'm not dragging out all the tokens for it, but more and more of these squid-like beings seem to either drop from ceilings, or you see some of them just merge out of the stonework. These things just kind of lining the path, and just there they are without eyes, just following your process as you head deeper and deeper in. The cacophonous whispers still continuing.
Yeah, I mean,
You follow the tunnel and the tracks down deeper and deeper into the depths of this cave. Down beneath the earth and down beneath the hill. Eventually you come to a choice in your path. Before you see the mine rail deeper down. But on your right, you can see a cave wall has been shattered in, and you see mosaic tiles.
Like
Almost if
proper tile work?
proper tile work, yes.
That would seem out of place for a mine.
It seems to be coming from this open entrance. You see flowing blue light from within.
Well, we were looking for something out of place, and that is.
Do you wish to continue on or enter through the breakage in the wall?
Anyone against?
I feel like this may
Breakage in the wall? No,
I vote yeah, tile work.
Yep.
Okay. You all enter into a finely tiled and decorated tunnel or corridor. You see stone pillars. As you go deeper in, you see stone pillars start to form out of the darkness before you. And this looks like an ancient temple or ancient shrine of some sort. Just imposed upon this world. You have no idea if this is natural, if this is meant to be here, this has always been here, or if something has literally forced this thing into being. Nevertheless, you continue down the tunnel. That blue flickering light guiding your way.
So we can't see what is causing the light?
Not yet, no.
Okay.
You do see, though, along the walls, actually set into the walls this time, it's those same sheets of ice, behind which you see innumerous people. All races, all ages, male and female, children, young boys, young girls, of human, elf, dwarf, gnome, halfling, dragonborn. You see a couple of Gith, even half-elves, Goliaths, half-orcs, orcs. You see anyone you could ever imagine set within these walls. On one of them you pass, you have like a faint feeling of recognition for a moment. If everyone could just roll me a straight intelligence check.
11.
I have a +0 to intelligence, and I rolled a nat 20.
Nice.
20, but not nat 20.
Okay.
I got 19 plus 1.
3.
2.
Okay. Yep. That actually works. So for the nat 20 and the 20, you recognize not the person, more a ring that they're wearing. The emblem upon it. If you remember back in the Elder's office when you were looking through the notes and the minutes of the meetings, there was a Lord for Sector, the magistrate of the town. Whenever the meetings had been signed, they had been signed by Lord for Sector and stamped with his sigil. It is that sigil you see upon the ring.
So who got the 20
As you
with
continue deeper in, I'll
me?
say
Wait. Who got the 20 with me?
it was
Me.
So I think we should
Kalinari.
try to, if we recognize this guy, should we try to break him out before we go?
I mean, if he is Lord Visector,
He's the one who's going to pay us.
I don't think he's going to be much help to us now. Maybe we wait till after.
Okay.
As you continue down, you see another familiar face. Everyone but Orzock. You see not the face of Caliban, the young guard you'd met outside who retreated into himself. But you see instead the face, if you remember, when you said you were here to help. He ran to go spread the news. He ran to a woman who also fell into glee. It is her face you see staring out from behind the ice. As you continue deeper, all of you recognize the third face. This is the third and final face you recognize. The aristocratic visage, the finely trimmed goatee, sleek back dark hair. This is Lord Eric, the nobleman from the capital city who gave you your job in the first place. You see his frozen visage looking out from behind the ice.
Oh, so from the capital city.
Got played from the get-go.
How in the hell? It would have been impossible for him to get here before us.
This was a ruse this whole time.
An imposter.
Looks like we've been set up, boys.
Not quite. You hear a voice rumbling down from the depths of the corridor, down towards that flickering blue light comes from. A voice you recognize, Orzock. Come, be welcome. Do you proceed?
Yeah, ain't gonna turn around now, right, boys?
Yeah, you'll hear me spit the ground and say out loud, this one is very disrespectful.
Changing to the different map then. Hopefully it loads quickly.
Yeah.
As you enter, you see the tunnel opens a bit into a slightly wider ending. You see the 4 pillars set before you, and at the far end, what seems to be almost a sarcophagus made of entirely of ice. Sat upon that odd piece of furniture, you see a towering armored form. You see the armor, which is modeled to almost be like a skeleton. But rather than the skull visage, which you were confronted with, Orzock, you see very fine-featured and pale-skinned, pale-skinned face staring out from within the helm, staring towards you. The cheeks seem almost sunken, the skin almost pure white. The eyes burn with a crimson red, and you sit almost with the posture of nobility as you step forth. You are welcome. Loris, Caliban, Baxiros, Kalinari, Orzock. You are welcome. Come, step forth.
But I don't step forward at all at this point. I would say before, and
Yeah,
who
fuck
are
it.
you? Saying, who are you?
No,
It's
I'm
not the-
absolutely getting closer.
Yep.
It is not the place of swine to question whom their betters are, but for what I wish to discuss. Manners must be
There's-
observed.
There's the one I know.
Let me triple check the name. I don't want to give you the wrong name. God damn it, guys. You may call me Siltorius, or Lord Imperator if you must. Be welcome.
I'll say, well, it's very nice to meet you, swine.
You see him kind of roll his neck as you say that. It's just this effort to kind of contain anger and disgust. Kalinari, as soon as you step between the pillars, you feel your body hit an invisible force. Unable to step further beyond.
What have you done to these people?
I have done nothing but elevate them beyond their pitiful states. They have lent themselves to a cause greater than even the stars above your heads. They have become more.
I became more once without my consent, and it is not a pleasurable experience I would wish upon anybody. Are they aware that you have made them better?
He seems to pause for a second in thought. Since it is you, my son, child of the weave, that asks this of me, I shall answer. This half of them is not. The other half of their soul, an echo under my domain, does, and they obey. My eyes and ears that present the coming storm.
What do you
what's
intend to
You
do?
realize,
purpose?
sorry, just in his words, in how still he is, it kind of catches your attention in this moment. A slight, almost flickering of the wall behind him, as if rushing air. It's just like in the blowing of dust particles, but rushing air kind of pouring forth from this wall. As your eyes kind of focus on it, you realize you're not staring at a brick wall. Staring at something your mind cannot comprehend. A vast depth of madness and just constant change greets your eyes. For those of you that are arcanely studied or intimately familiar with it, you realize you're peering into a fraction of the far realm, leaking through from this tear in reality.
Is this also where the blue light is coming from?
Yes. Or it's coming from the kind of sarcophagus he sat upon.
Okay.
You also notice, faintly, that hissing song and the sound of scales running over stone.
From which direction?
From deeper into the room, about just beyond the next set of pillars.
For what purpose did you summon us here?
I summon you because of whom you walk with. Swine and vermin you may be, lost wallowing in your filth, as all mortals seem to be. You walk with one who has been blessed. And Lavish, you notice his eyes fall upon you. The child of the weave, the anchor stone that we use to tear open the void and slip through from the beyond. You were useful and thus discarded. You many of your brothers and sisters, they withered away to death. But you, oh, I was surprised when I saw you, Loris. You have proven strength, proven the ability to rise above your station, to step above the muck and filth, to distinguish yourself. And so I offer to you a boon, the same I offer to your companions. The tear is to widen. My lords and ladies of the court shall step forward and take domain of this land, claim what they owe and are owed. But I offer you a place within that court. You have proven strength, and so I offer reward. What say you all?
I won't be used as the justification or as an example of your bullshit benevolence. These people deserve the right to make their own decisions.
Deserve? What do animals and beasts deserve of anything? They are filth incarnate, lost to their sins and their greeds and their gluttony, constantly warring and fighting, lost to a madness of their own soul. No, I offer libertation and liberation from their binds and shackles. The court offers them freedom. They deserve naught but death.
To you, they are nothing. To smaller creatures, even more insignificant in your eyes, they are everything. And in the same way that the booted hero is responsible to not step on the smaller creature regardless of what it deserves, these people, my compatriots, those poor souls you have trapped in the ice, deserve the freedom and the peace that comes with an existence that's already hard enough without having you come in here and attempt to better them for your own means to spread this interstellar conquest nonsense as if these swine are worthy of your time and effort. If it's so easy, why even be here? Why concern yourself with them? You're so superior. Roll in here and crush these people. Take them. It's no challenge.
They are here by happenstance. That is all. What does the boot care of the anthill it steps upon? They are here to be used and tossed away like the beasts they are. But I see you have lost yourself to your sin as well. Does he speak for you all? And his gaze just runs across each and every one of you.
Are you the master that I've heard so much about?
I am the Lord Imperator, the herald of the course, the first through the way, and the one who shall open the path. To those who have quarreled with, yes, I am master.
And I guess I look at the other guys and I'm like, but I guess we found the guy we got to kill.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
As always, Loris, I respect your conviction and will stand with you.
He sighs heavily, almost mournfully, at your words, all of your words. He holds out his hand, and rather towards you, it's just to the side, and he seems to rest it on something. You see a shimmer as you hear this song pitch up all the louder for a moment, and then it kind of fades away into nothing, and you realize for the first time you're actually hearing true silence. Coming out from this tear between the realms, you see a long form, almost like a snake's body, reaching out into the material plane, curling along the ground, and accumulating, if I can say the word correctly, in a head, which stares at you from this corner of the room. This thing is the exact same thing you saw in the mirror. Only its body does not seem to entirely exist on this plane. Its size is immense and is actually reaching out from the far realm itself. Sighing mournfully once more, he reaches down, grabs the skull-visaged helmet, places it upon his head, and grabs a large maul, I believe it was. Let me double check, because I don't want to describe this wrong. Yes, a large maul that was resting against this sarcophagus, and gets to his feet. Very well then. You have chosen death. He waves his hand once more, and this invisible wall before you shatters into nothing. And we're going to just take a quick 5-minute break while I go get something to drink before we get into combat.
Okay.
Sounds
I'm
good.
sorry.
Cool.
I'm sorry, my throat is killing me right now.
You're totally fine. Yeah, we'll be right
So
back.
sorry.
Stick around for a quick second. We'll be right back. Boom.
Yep.
All right, we are back. Our DM is not going to die of thirst in a height of moment of tension. And so with that, we'll turn it right back over to Sam with all this creepy shit going on.
Yep. And with that, can everyone roll me initiative?
All right.
All right, baby.
Yep.
As the
Daddy
wall of
has
force
disadvantage.
between you shatters.
Daddy's mad and he wants to go.
Ooh, 18 and 18.
Nice.
It's a 23.
That's right, because you're crazy, Dexy.
I am crazy Dexy.
That's good.
Axe got 16
I also got 16.
plus 3 dex.
13.
14.
10.
What's your dex route?
Mine's negative. You're good, buddy.
Okay.
As Bax says before.
I might stumble over something.
Okay. The Imperator goes first by just 1. He got a 24. So you almost beat him, Caliban. So he goes first. He is going to... Yes, he's going to stride forward a bit. I'm not going to count steps because that's the full 30. Hold out his hand, and I need all of you to make me a double check. Charisma saving throw, please.
Ooh.
I'll be
That's
good
not
with that one.
I'm gonna let D&D Beyond handle this one.
Oh my god. I rolled a 4 and I got a 15 still. Plus 11.
+5 if you're next to.
Yeah, don't forget your
Oh,
plus
yeah.
fives, guys.
So that's 18 for
19.
me.
Okay.
I
With
got a
five.
29.
Ah, just beat me, 28. I'm not falling for this alien bullshit a second time.
28 for me as well.
Can't get fooled again.
Yeah.
What did Bax get?
19. Or no,
19.
sorry, 20, no, sorry, 20 even.
Cue the hit.
Did anyone get less than 20?
May.
Okay, Caliban, you are baned.
Oh boy.
Yay.
And he has now concentration.
We're getting all the status effects, eh?
And let me double check, but I think that's his turn. That's what he's going to do to start. Yep, that's melee. That's action. Yeah, that's his turn.
Okay.
Next up, we have Caliban.
All right, Caliban's gonna step back behind the pillar and make his 3 shots at this guy with disadvantage and -D4.
Yeah.
That's probably not gonna make it. So 16 before the D4. 15, 14, 13.
That misses.
6 plus 13, 19. 16 again.
That misses again.
Last shot. 15 plus 13. 28 minus 4. 24.
That one hits. So
right.
roll your damage.
1d12, right? Yeah, plus 7.
Your
So
boy.
there'd be 14 damage
Okay,
at the big boy.
I'm using a calculator for that 'cause I'm not keeping track of all that. Anyway, okay. Is that your turn?
And then he will move back behind the pillar.
Okay. End of your turn. He is going to burn. How many is this? Yes, he's going to burn 2 legendary actions to target. Let's go Orzock. Can you make me a wisdom saving throw,
Probably,
please?
but all right, sure.
Hey, you got a +5. That's a pretty big bonus.
Oh, I
You
need
can
it.
do anything.
Ooh, all right. 17 on the die, -1.
You feel something try to leech onto your very soul, but manage to, through strength of will, shrug it off.
Ooh.
So, with its legendary action done, we now go to Bax.
Okay. How far away are the 2 guys right now from each other?
From you,
No, from each other.
55. Oh, from each other, 10 feet.
Okay, so I'd like to cast Sickening Radiance right in the middle of them.
Okay.
So that would be.
I don't know.
How does that even work? Do they? So I know they have to make a Constitution saving throw.
Constitution save. Okay.
Yeah, and it will stay there for up to 10 minutes.
Okay, give me a second. Where's their con saves? Doesn't have. That's a 22 for the Imperator.
Yeah, so that does it.
And a 16.
So that
For
does
the-
not. It's 18 to pass.
Okay. What effect does this have?
The damage, it's the first damage is 25. So the other guy, the first guy is cut in half. The second guy got full.
Yep.
And then when the creature is in there, they get 1 level of exhaustion, and they emit a light and cannot go invisible.
Is it when they fail they're exhausted?
Yes.
Okay. So the
Yes. Okay. yeah.
so the wraith is exhausted. Good to know. Okay, is that your turn?
Then I will bonus action and hex the Wraith as well.
He's hexed. What do you want it to be? Strength, Dex, Con?
You can't cast 2-leveled spells. One is a bonus,
yeah.
one is an action.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for catching that.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
Hex wouldn't be
Then I'm
able to be
done.
cast.
Okay.
That's your turn. Next up, Kalinari.
So this big mouthy guy is what, a really big armored skeleton type looking thing.
It seems the armor is entirely to be imposing intimidation. It's just like a very tall. Seems almost elven when you saw him without his mask.
No, I was
Unless
talking
you mean the
about
Wraith.
him. So he's got some sort of big ornamental fancy arm.
Yes, pretty much.
Yeah, screw.
This is a mix of actual practicality, but then at the same time, it's okay. Make it intimidating.
Well, screw it anyway. I'm going to upcast heat metal to 4th level on his armor.
Okay then.
So he takes 48 fire, and as long as he's wearing it, he has disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks, and I can renew that as a bonus action on my turn.
Okay, is it concentration?
It is concentration.
Okay, just keep that in mind then. But yeah, roll damage. Let me double check. Fire. Wraith.
So that's going to be 23 fire damage.
Okay. Yep, that goes through. You can see the armor begin to glow a faint orange as you cast the spell. And the eyes from behind the helmet just lock onto you.
All right. And with my bonus action, I will give Loris a D6 Bardic Inspiration.
Yeah.
Why, thank you.
Make him pay, Loris.
Oh, I got you, buddy. Don't you worry. We're about to make this thing really bad.
End of your turn would be okay. The Wraith is up. The Wraith seems to just slither forwards towards you, Kalinari, and this almost semi-intangible thing just lashes down with giant fangs towards you. Let me pull up the stat block again. Does a 22 hit?
I'll use my reaction to shield myself so that it misses.
Okay. Yeah, it misses, and oh, that would have been as first round of combat. So would have had advantage. So that would have been 25 rather.
That'll still miss.
Okay. Yep. It misses the attack. And that's his turn. Lois, you're up.
Oh, thank you, Nick. I keep forgetting. Attack rolls against me should be at disadvantage anyway because of my Cloak of Displacement.
Oh,
I've been forgetting that all day.
No, I've been as well. Yeah, I'll keep that in mind going forward. Thank you.
All right.
Lois.
I'm gonna look at the boss man as I stand around. I'm gonna summon a star spawn using 4th level spell, Summon Aberration.
Yep. I don't have a token for
that's fine.
that. So
I'll just
yeah.
Okay, perfect. That'll work. And giving me these gifts is going to be the downfall of your plan. I'm going to summon the aberration. I'm going to have a quip. And I'm going to move a little bit. Where's that? There we go. We're going to move to about here.
And it was star spawn you did, right?
Yes.
Okay. And does it go after you? Yeah, so it takes a turn immediately after you.
Okay. So the star spawn is going to just move up right now. It's going to make melee spell attack, psychic slam.
Yep.
That's not going to get it done. I'm actually maybe. 18 to hit.
18 hits.
Okay.
4 damage.
It's going to take 11 damage.
Is
As
is that big
Okay.
yellow circle the sickening radiance spell?
I think so, yeah. I didn't draw it on. I imagine that's what it's meant to be.
Oh, who put it there?
I did, but yeah, it's supposed to represent the sickening radiance.
Is that persistent? Like, is that a persistent effect on the?
Yeah, it's a concentration spell.
I'm not familiar with the spell.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 30-foot radius sphere that causes radiant damage and levels of exhaustion on people that go into
Enter
it.
Yeah, so it's anyone that goes into it. I'll say, to be kind, I'll say it could have been, I don't know how we can move it, but I'll say it was cast further back, so Loris wouldn't have entered it, basically.
I mean, that's fine. I was like, I can just not be in
Yeah,
it.
that's smart.
I was like, I can just not be in it. The star
I'd
spawn.
imagine it was cast like at the very back, essentially.
And then the star spawn is just going to have to deal with it. Sorry, buddy.
I will say, as the psychic slam hits into the Imperator, you watch as wounds upon the armor glow for a second, and he seems to stand up straighter. It seems the psychic damage had no effect,
Interesting.
or even a positive effect.
Aha. Damn it.
At the end of the spawn's turn, Orzock, you're up.
All right. Let's see.
I'll say, to be kind, I'll say you can hit him without going within.
All right. I'm going to cast. What is that? Flesh to stone on the, I guess the wraith.
Okay.
Or actually, yeah. Visible. I guess would it be even affected by it? I guess that would be the.
You've no idea.
Yeah, that would be the. Yes, that's a tough question. Do you know what? Actually, no. I got a better idea. Let's. I got a better idea. If we're gonna move this battle over here, then I am actually going to reach into my pocket and something Orzock never does. You'll see him do this one since we've been traveling for a long time. He reaches into like a small pocket on him, and you'll see him reach out and this fine red dust, and he blows it all over the wraith. And I am actually going to cast Force Cage, so it is trapped in a little box where it is.
Let me just look up Force Cage, because with this thing, it'd be
It needs to make a charisma saving throw for me, please.
okay.
I thought that was
save?
only if it tried to teleport out.
Well, that's, yeah, but
It starts
either
out
way,
just.
When you
Fuck,
cast a spell,
trapped.
any creature that is completely inside the cage area is trapped. Creatures only partially within the area. Okay, so
and it has effect in plane. Like if it's like if the creature is like a planar
Yeah.
it has
Oh.
effect, and on the ethereal plane.
Okay. As you cast the spell, then it goes to reach around it. Since the creature is not fully within that space, it would be pushed back out of the force cage. I am using the token to represent it. Its body is coming out from the rift behind the rift. So if you want to change the spell, I'll let you do so. I'll be kind on that.
Its body would be coming out from behind it?
From the back wall, its body is emerging out from within the far realm itself. I'm using that token to show where its head is.
So
if you want to change it, you can do something else if you want.
I mean, that's what he would just to like try to keep it in place. So he would have done that. I mean, that was
okay. If you're sure.
Yeah, I mean that's
okay. So it would be pushed back. I'll say to push back to about here, as the force cage just forces it back away from you all. Is that your turn?
Yep.
End of your turn. The Imperator is going to take its legendary action and is going to lash out at the Starspawn with a maul attack, which is going to miss. I don't even need to say what it was because that's going to miss. It's a 1. Okay. End of your turn, end of its legendary action. Back top of initiative is now the Imperator's turn again. He is going to... What's the distance? Okay. Since he can't make it to you, Kalinari, he's going to charge forward, and there's an attack of opportunity from the spawn.
Did he have to take a Constitution saving throw for the sickening radiance?
Yes, you're right. Thank you for that. 18 plus... Con save. Anyone doesn't have... 23.
Yeah, it's only 18 to pass.
Okay.
But he gets half damage though, so let me roll the half damage. So 18, so 9 damage.
Okay, he takes 9 damage. Does the Starspawn want to take an attack of opportunity?
Realizing that this psychic damage against the aberration is probably not the best plan, I'm gonna tell it not to, so it can move.
Okay. In that case, he's going to charge up right in front of you and bring them all down towards you in a heavy, overhanded strike. That is a 25 to hit.
Yes.
Okay, you take 9 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay, that's not that bad.
And an additional 5 points of psychic damage as this maul crashes into you, and as it does, you feel not just your bones buckling beneath the strain, but also your very soul seems to scream out in pain.
Manny, that was the most player-like thing you've ever said. And
he's then going to lash out with his free hand towards you, Kalinari, and you watch as an ethereal whip seems to wrap itself around his arm before whipping out towards you at disadvantage. That's still rolled pretty well. 22 to hit.
No, my shield is still up, so I'm...
Yep. Are you just hyper-focusing on you? So with that done. Yep, that's his turn. Next up is Caliban.
And did he make any of his concentration checks between?
I completely forgot about that. I'll just make one now, and yeah, no, the Bane's gone. That's the second that one he's rolled.
Caliban's gonna step out behind the pillar and make his 3 shots again. with
Go ahead.
disadvantage. 15 for the first one.
50 misses.
13 plus 5. 18 for the second one.
18 hits.
Oh,
He's
was
going
not
to use
expecting.
shield, so misses.
Okay. And the last one. 26. 26.
Yeah, no, that'll hit easily.
And that will be 1d12 plus 7. 9. 16. Magical piercing.
Okay. The bullet seems to catch a gap in his armor, and you see a faint spray of blood.
All right. And then he's going to go ahead and action surge and do it again.
Go ahead.
Actually, no. He's going to hold off on that.
Okay.
That'll end his turn.
Uh,
End of turn. Bax, you up.
All right, Bax is gonna retreat a little bit because I'm squishy and everybody's getting close. And then I'm going to twin spell haste, and I'm going to cast it on Loris and Caliban. Of course, they have to be willing to take it, but
Sickening Radiance fails as the concentration shifts to haste.
sorry, say that again.
Sickening Radiance dissipates as you shift your concentration to haste.
Yes. So they now have +2 bonus AC and get an extra attack each turn.
Yep. I wish I'd got music for this. I just don't know how to use the music player in this, so I'm not gonna mess with it.
Twitch doesn't usually let you. They're kind of sketchy about
Yeah.
it.
There's that as well. Yeah, there's that as well. Anything else you wish to do, Bax?
No, that's it for me.
Okay, and
Anyway,
end
I'm
of
missing
turn,
out on all the fun here doing these concentrations though, but yeah.
end of your turn, he's going to take a legendary action, and okay, yes, he's going to burn all 3 legendary actions and choose distance-wise, Bax, Kalinari, and Orzock. You watch as his form seems to flicker for a moment before it vanishes and appears right in front of you, Kalinari, first. He brings the maul down in an attack for 21 to hit, which misses, I assume, because your shield will be up.
Still at 26, yep.
Form again flickers, vanishes, and Orzock appears behind you. Brings the maul down again in a heavy overhanded strike. 13 to hit.
No.
Yep, I thought so. And finally, will form a flicker one more time and appears looming next to you, Bax. As he burns all 3 legendary actions for 28 to hit.
And that's a hit.
You are remembering to roll at disadvantage.
Yeah, what happened?
Right.
Yeah. He's rolling pretty bad, and that one rolled pretty good. That was 18.
And bad. He did out for you, yes.
Yeah.
He's been missing everyone else, unfortunately. Well, fortunately for me. Plus. Give me a second. Where'd it go? There it is. You take 12 points of bludgeoning damage, plus an additional. Plus an additional 7 points of psychic damage for 19 total.
Okay.
And I need a Constitution saving throw to maintain concentration on haste. DC 10.
22.
Yeah, you maintain haste, just fine. Caliban, you're up.
All right.
All right. Oh, I
Oh,
think.
no, sorry, Kalinari.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kalinari. Sorry, I told
That
you
makes
this
more
one to
sense.
get me mixed up at some point.
Yeah, it's
Sorry
all
about
right. So with my bonus action, I'll hit him again with the heat metal.
Yep.
For 18 fire damage.
that. Nice. Yep.
And then I will move so that I can hit him and I will make 2 attacks with my magical longsword.
Go ahead.
First one is a 21.
21 will hit.
All right, so that will deal 10 magical slashing damage. And then the second one's a 27 to hit.
That will hit.
And will deal 16 magical slashing damage.
Nice. Nice.
And that's all.
Okay. End of your turn. We go to the Wraith. Yeah, the Wraith. The Wraith is going to swarm forwards towards Loris. And it's going to try and chomp down upon you. With a 14 plus 26 to hit.
Yes.
You take 1 point of piercing damage.
Okay.
Plus 2 points of cold. So 3 points of damage. As you feel the fangs not so much bite at your form, but at your very soul. And you feel the reaches of insanity and madness start to curl at your mind. I need you to make me an intelligence saving throw.
Oh no. I'm in danger. Shit.
You got this, man.
A 9. Oh no. Am I close to Kalinari still?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
thanks. Not much better, but a 14.
You take 3 points of psychic damage as scenes of utter madness tear at your thoughts. You feel like you're falling down into an abyss of deep and dark blackness, unable to see anyone or anything. So you feel like your very body is being tossed about and torn apart and re-stitched together in the depths of this madness. And you just roll me a D100.
Oh shit.
Oh. Done.
Right?
D100 coming out.
Well, I never know how to root for these. 94.
94?
Yes. Unless that's
This
bad.
darkness seems to rush up to consume you, and you all watch as Loris falls to the ground unconscious.
Oh no.
You are unconscious for the next 2 rounds.
That was a waste of haste.
Cool. I'm sleeping very quickly, all right?
Power nap.
You see your chest is falling up and down, almost like you're in a long distance run at the moment. Yes, that's the Wraith's turn. Would be Loris. Loris is snoring on the ground, dreaming of utter madness and insanity.
Like you do.
So we go to Orzock instead.
All right. So I'm going to attempt to make a melee attack against the guy.
Yep, roll to attack.
24 to hit.
That hits quite easily.
All right, and then I'll just roll for the second one. That one's not as great. 18 to hit.
18 also hits.
Oh, all right, cool, nice. So,
Yeah, since you're not able to command it, Loris, the Star Spawn is taking the defend action.
Okay.
9.
I think that's what it says in the spell, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, dodge if you don't command
Dodge.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So hold on, 7, 14, 16 plus another 10, 26. And another 24. So 30 points of damage for those 2 hits.
God damn, very nice.
And that is magical, and actually like half of it is necrotic as well.
Oh, half is necrotic. Let me double check the necrotic. How much of it was necrotic?
16.
Okay. So it'd be minus 14, minus 8 instead. They're resistant. You feel that you notice the necrotic damage doesn't quite have the same hit to it.
Okay.
Anything else?
Nope, that's it for right now.
Okay. Your turn done. It is now his turn. He is going to... What is he going to do? You've laid quite a lot of hits on him.
Oh, but we're just vermin, right?
Swine.
Schwein.
I'm sleeping. All right. I'd be angry with you guys, but I'm catching a snooze.
We try to mock him with an Oktoberfest accent. Swang.
He is going to reach out to Orzock, since you just hit him. And he's going to lay his hand, or reach his hand out towards you when you feel a tug at your soul. And you just make me a charisma saving throw, please.
Ooh. Do I still get you? I still have that +5, correct?
Yep, you're right next to me.
Alright. That is a 19.
Okay. You take...
Ouch.
7, 14, 15, 20, 24, 24, 6, sorry, maths, 30 points of psychic damage.
Wow.
I take 15 points of psychic damage because I am resistant to psychic damage.
And you feel like your soul has been marked. Almost if your soul is trying to be torn apart into nothing more than shreds. I need a Constitution saving throw.
All right. (17).
You manage to shrug off whatever effect it's trying to set upon you for now. It's still there, and beginning of your turns going forward, I'll need a Constitution saving throw.
All right. I like it.
We'll come back to this later.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Cool. Recurring problem.
With his bonus action, the whip forms once more and lashes out towards Caliban. So, with disadvantage because of the
ED of the metal.
Yep, the heating of the metal.
Yeah, because he's currently
Baking.
Yep. Oh no, he definitely is. That is a 22.
Use my last spell slot to shield it.
Don't forget you have
You
+2 AC.
Yeah, well, it's still I'm at 21, so shield is still necessary.
You
But
knock
thanks for
aside,
reminding me.
you knock aside the whip, which again dissipates into nothingness, and that's his turn.
he's got a hell of a range with that thing. Holy
Yeah.
It's technically not a whip; it's a psychic leech. Is the best way to describe it. So it's longer reach. Yes, that's his turn. So, Caliban.
All right.
Um,
Caliban,
you're up.
start.
Real quick, out of curiosity, with the leech, as it were, is it still a melee?
Technically, yes. It's just extended reach, basically.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, you notice how much damage you're setting on with.
All right.
fucking him up.
So at the beginning of his turn, Caliban is going to go ahead and use his first use of his fighting spirit to give himself advantage on all of his attacks, which will cancel out the disadvantage, so they'll just be straight rolls. And since he's got 4 shots now with his hasted action, 4 shots.
All right. Fuck him up.
It's a 6 on the die, a 13, a 14, and 15. Wow, that's fucking crazy. So 6 plus 13. 19 is the lowest.
He's going to reaction shield. So that will miss.
All right, so 13 plus 13, 26, 27, and 28 are the next 3.
Those 3 will hit.
All right. 1, so that'll be 9.
Okay.
God. 8. And 15.
Jesus. Okay.
And then he will action surge and do it all again.
Nice.
Go ahead.
That's why I gave it to you, buddy.
I gave it multi-class in a month.
God. 19, 18, 17, and 13. So 26 is the low again.
They all hit.
All right.
You just you push past this effect of madness that has been laid upon you, stealing your fighting spirit within, and all but one of your bullets just pierce through this arcane shield he summoned, and are doing a shit ton of damage.
16, 19, God, minimum 8, and 19 again.
Jesus fuck. Okay then.
Never mind. Haste. I didn't get an extra haste action from the action surge, so take off that last one.
Yep, I'll add that back on. Jesus fuck.
You don't get the extra action on the action surge?
This is why I love fighters.
We don't.
So that'll be a total of 17, 32, 42, 48, 58, 68, 67, 75 total damage. Magical piercing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Caliban will light up a cigarette, and that'll end his turn.
End of your turn, he's going to use his legendary action to reach out to you, Orzock, and I need you to make me another charisma saving throw. You can feel that brand upon your soul seemingly begin to burn.
All right, here's this problem reoccurring again.
This is a different problem that he's.
This is a different one.
Oh.
Yeah, this is a different problem he's trying to beset upon me. Charisma, that is a 29.
You managed to shrug off whatever effect he was trying to establish.
That's right. For a guy with an eye on his shoulder.
Yep.
I'm likable.
Let me put it this way. You dropped him low enough now that he's
scrounging. Yeah, he's scrounging.
Well, anyway, Jesus fuck. End of that. We come to Bax.
Okay, I'd like to Misty Step my bonus action to get away from this guy.
Yep. By all means.
So I'm going to go 30 feet. How far that is? A little bit there. Is that about 30?
Yeah, that's fine. I'm going to be loose on the distances.
Okay.
So don't worry about it too much.
So, and then at this point, I'm going to I think I'm going to break the haste and I'm going to Eldritch Blast. I want to hit this guy. I'm getting mad.
Yeah, no, you can Eldritch Blast without breaking haste. So yeah, Eldritch Blast away.
Okay, nice. All right, so you got 20 to hit.
We'll miss because the shield is still up.
13 will miss. Jesus.
Yep.
And 14. Boom. Nothing.
All miss. They all kind of slam against the arcane shield. Is that your turn?
I look around and I'm like, okay, no one saw that. And I end my turn.
Okay. End of your turn, legendary action. He's going to use Form the Weave. He watches his form flickers into 4 individual versions as he casts mirror image on himself. That's his legendary action. So, Kalinari.
All right.
Hook him up.
Bonus action to do the heat metal again.
Yep, go ahead.
For 14 fire damage.
Okay. Yep.
And yeah, I mean, he's got some copies, but we'll try and hit him anyway.
Go ahead. Let me just double check the mirror image working.
That is a nat 20.
Okay, so if you have roll a 6 higher. Okay. You bring your weapon down upon him and slices clean through him. The mirror image flickers and fades.
Next one is a unnatural 20.
Simon has to do. You destroy yet another copy. Down to just one more.
All right, that's all I got.
Yep. Okay. Does he have legendary actions? Okay. End of your turn. We come to the Wraith. The Wraith is going to, lunge towards you, Kalinari. Put him there. And it's going to lash out with its fangs towards you. We at disadvantage because of the bracer cloak, right?
Yep.
Okay, that's that. That's even better. That is, how much do I add to it? 27.
Yep, that'll hit.
Yep. Yeah, he rolled really well on that one. You take 1 point of piercing damage and 2 cold. And you feel the tendrils of insanity start to reach out towards you. Make me an intelligence saving throw.
It's 25.
Okay, you managed to shrug it off. And that's the Wraith's turn. End of turn. Loris is asleep. End of your turn, you wake up. So you'll get your turn next round.
Yay.
Sorry about that. Orzock. Beginning of your turn, make me a Constitution saving throw.
Yay, my reoccurring problem.
Yep. Now the recurring problem.
Now this is my reoccurring problem.
The good news is he doesn't get this back until he re-rolls a 5 or 6. So.
Oh god.
18.
Okay, you managed to shrug it off.
Whew.
What do you wish to do?
Let's see. I guess I'm gonna take 2 more chops at big guy.
Go ahead.
27 for the first one,
Uh,
and 26 for the second one.
the first one dashes the last mirror image. The second one hits. Roll
All
damage.
right. So,
Okay.
and that is 16 points of damage. So, and then with his reduced, it'll be 14 points of damage.
Okay. Let me just double check something. Make me a Constitution saving throw.
Another one? All right. Ooh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That is a 12.
Okay. You feel your axe bite into his armor. You feel it shattering the bones beneath, but in that moment, you, and only you alone, almost see within his eyes this sigil flare. And though you don't know it, the same one flares in your eyes. You take 7 points of damage, as half the damage dealt is directed into you. As the sword brand flares to life with its insidious nature.
Okay. All right.
That could have been a lot worse.
Yep. This is him. I would just say this is him basically pushed to the very edge. I'll look this way. He's looking bad. Let's put it that way.
I mean,
You can all see he's kind of hunched over, breathing heavily. You can see blood dripping from between the gaps in the armor that you've managed to open up with all your weapons and attacks.
it probably smells
not
like
looking
a
good at all.
barbecue.
He does, yes.
I feel like
There's
we
also
would
that as well.
burping this guy pretty bad right now.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
swine, eh? Swine?
End of your turn, Orcas. It's his turn. He's going to hold out a hand, and he's going to. Yeah. Okay. Let me put drawing the. I don't know what distance it is. Is that right? Yeah, I'll say that's right. Fuck it.
I like the fact it's not in it. That works there for me.
Yeah, that's. If I knew how to move stuff around, the shapes around, I'd do so, but I don't. So fuck it. I'll leave it at that. It's 3 a.m. Fuck it. Everyone who is in the circle, I need you to make me a Constitution saving throw, please, as this insidious gas starts to form. Yeah, it's fine.
24.
Do I roll?
Remember, you get +5.
Do I roll a disadvantage or anything for being unconscious?
No, you're back awake.
Oh, right. Cool.
You're only unconscious for 2 rounds.
Word. Oh, then I'm good. 23 on my con save.
17.
Dirty 20.
20. Okay. Orzock and Caliban, you choke upon the noxious gas as it begins to form. Hold on, let me do.
Is it
First time
poison?
on a turn. Well, it starts its turn there. Creature says. So I'm just rereading the spell. When a creature enters the spell area for the first time on a turn. So yeah. So you choke on this noxious gas as the cloud kill forms. And it is poison damage.
The cloud kill spell?
I have advantage against that saving throw, so hold on.
Well, again. Well, I think that's advantage against poisons, not poison damage.
Oh.
I think. I'll double check that. It's the dwarven thing, right?
Yes.
Regardless, anyone within my aura will take half damage, as my aura gives you resistance against damage from spells.
Oh, nice.
Nice. Okay, so only Caliban and Orzock take 4 damage. Everyone else but Bax takes half.
Damn, what was the DC?
22.
Bad.
I think I got that right. Yeah, I think. We do it. So 5, 8, 16, 24. So 15 points of damage because it's half thanks to the aura to Caliban and Orzock, and 7 to everyone else bar Bax. And then,
all right,
we'll bonus action with the whip out towards. Yeah, let's go for Bax since you avoided the spell. You get the whip towards you instead. Okay, that's pretty good on both of them. Does a what damn maths 19 hit?
Nope.
Nope. Okay, you avoid the whip. That's his turn. Next up, Caliban.
all right. Caliban is going to put his cloak up to his face, trying to cough his way out to get out of the cloud of nastiness. And as soon as he's clear from it, he's going to utilize his second use of his fighting spirit to negate the, what's it called? Disadvantage that he's got and everything.
Yep.
And he's going to make his 4 shots. The low is whatever 9 plus 13 is.
22.
22.
22 reaction will shield it. 23 or high will hit.
25, yeah. So that's 3 hits. So that'll be 16 plus 14 plus 4 damage. Pure
Nice. Nicely done.
And that'll end his turn.
Yep, he's looking rough.
He'll call out to Loris, "Hey, you all right over there?"
Like wipe
Wake up.
Wipe some sleep from my eyes. Big yawn. I'm coming.
Yep.
5 more minutes.
Legendary action. He's going to bring a maul down upon you, Kalinari. Just seems very desperate in this moment, just lashing out. Okay, that's a 18. That's a 19. Oh, damn good. Finally got a good roll on him. The maul. Goddamn maths. 26 to hit.
Yep, that'll do it.
Okay. 26. You take. Oh, wait, hold on. Before I do that, before I forget. No. Yeah. The cloud kill fades. Because concentrations, that's gone. Oh, I don't know how to delete that. I'm just going to leave it because I don't know how to delete it. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, whoever did that. Let's do that of this. So Kana, you take 2d6. Nice. That's goddamn maths. 14 plus. You take 28 points of damage, split between bludgeoning and psychic.
The psychic is relevant as I am resistant.
Okay. You for that you take. So in case if it's resistant, you would take. Goddamn.
Sorry, more math.
21 then. And Constitution saving throw on the heat metal. Concentration check on heat metal.
Yeah, it's 21 damage, so it's still a DC 10. So yeah, I literally can't
DC
fail.
10.
I have plus 13, so it's a
Yeah,
25.
Okay. All right, yep, fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, legendary action done. Bax, you're up.
All right, so I'm going to move just slightly farther away, and I am going to Eldritch Blast the big guy again.
Go ahead.
Hopefully I can hit him this time.
You have 23 to beat.
Nope. Nope. Nope.
Anything else you want to do?
Getting annoyed now.
Yell at my
No,
dice.
I get it. Yeah, I'm gonna start rolling the real dice. Forget this.
Yep. Okay.
No, I'm done.
End of your turn. Heal again. Use legendary action this time. Yep. Okay, yeah. This time he's going to target Bax, Loris, and Caliban.
What?
His form
Right.
flickers and vanishes, and first appears behind you, Caliban. Brings them
Aw,
all
shit.
down in an attack. That's not good.
With
That's
heat metal.
much better, but I can't use that because disadvantage. Yep, I know. That's what I got a 19 and a 12, so 22 to hit.
That'll do it.
Okay, you take 48. Okay, that's fair. Okay, there you go. 2, 8, 16, 17, 22 points of psychic damage.
Ouch. I
As the
didn't like it.
spectral maul comes down upon you, flickers, vanishes, and appears behind you, Bax, and brings the spectral maul down upon you. God damn it. For a 25.
That hits.
Got 1, 7, 12, 20, 23 points of damage.
Okay.
And concentration check on the haste. DC 11? Yeah, DC 11.
15.
Okay, you maintain haste. And finally reappears behind you, Lois. Oh, that was good. No, that was good. 23.
To hit, yes.
Okay. You take 4, 7, 14, 17.
Dude, stop.
God. 25 points of psychic damage.
Ooh, oh, thank God. 12. Resistant to psychic.
Oh yeah, resistant damage. So it's 12. As he brings the spectral mace down upon you, and God damn, I'm getting tired. Who said was it Bax?
Yeah, it was
Kalinari?
Bax.
You went.
No, I
So
haven't gone yet.
Kalinari. Yep, you're at them.
All right,
So
so
that-
I will go around the wraith to get at the big guy.
Yep. You kind of, as you're doing so, you kind of pass through its form because as its body extends out into the far realm, and you feel this kind of piercing at your body as you do so, but it is currently immaterial, so you pass through.
And then bonus action heat metal, because, you know,
Yep.
screw that
Yep.
guy.
Yep. Nope, do so.
15 fire damage.
Yep.
And 2 melee attacks. 16 and oh my god, a 14.
Both will miss.
That's my
Hit
turn.
against the arm. Okay. He did that, so he don't have his legendary actions. Just okay. So next up is the wraith. The wraith is going to swarm towards Caliban. Lois, you technically, and Kalinari, you both get attack opportunity if you want them.
Yes, I
Oh, I do.
Oh, I do.
Yep. Go ahead.
Shit, yeah. 27 for me to hit.
All right. Yep.
30.
Damage. Roll damage.
You know what? I
15.
don't like this guy.
Okay.
So I'm going to stack a 3rd level Divine Smite on top of that.
Go ahead. The level divine smiting.
So
Just
that's
fuck it up.
10 magic piercing and 18 radiant.
Okay. So that's not okay. So swarms towards you, Caliban, and goes to bite you. With that's probably going to miss an 18.
That misses.
Yep. I rolled a 6. So yeah.
Block him with the buttstock of my rifle.
That's its turn. So Varys, you're up.
All right.
Close.
Don't forget, you got 3 attacks plus your bonus action attack this time.
And we're gonna throw out some smites because I'm personally sick of fucking around. So,
Do it.
how does Booming Blade figure into this with haste?
It doesn't figure with haste at all. You can use your normal action to Booming Blade like normal, but the extra haste action can only be a single normal melee attack.
Yep. And if you do the booming blade, you also don't get your extra attacks.
I still what?
You won't get your second attack or
Okay,
your
that's what. Okay, that's
polar
what,
master attack.
that's what
Yeah.
I thought. All right. I'm just gonna glaive this bad boy 3
Good call.
times.
What's his HP at?
Just because.
Well, it would be 4 times with haste.
4 times.
Yep.
Sorry. All right. So 18, 18, 27, and 27. I rolled 2 16s and 2 7s.
The 27's hit.
Okay. That's what I thought. And then
So do the first damage. Do a slight damage first.
first one's going to be 14.
Okay. That's just enough. Okay.
Just enough?
No, not to that. Not to kill him.
Okay.
I'll let you definitely know when you kill him. Trust me.
All right, and then 16 for the second one. And
Orzock, I need that save again. The charisma save.
I'm going to knock out a 5th level Divine Smite because I have 5th level spell slots and no 5th level spells.
Yeah, you are in the same boat. I have 4th level slots, but my highest spell is a 2nd level.
5.
Smite slots.
24 charisma save.
Okay then. So it's a quarter instead.
Oh,
So 15 damage.
16, 22.
Good.
16, 22. 16, 20, 20. 27
This is going to be
points.
close.
27 points with my smite.
Yep. So 27. Orzock, you take 6 points of that damage as the brand upon your soul flares.
Ah,
But
sorry,
the other
bro.
21 goes through to him.
Sorry, buddy.
That's you dropped him low enough that now that ability starts to trigger more often.
Sorry, buddy.
I'll just say, he is looking very rough right now. Very rough.
Your gifts to me were the biggest mistake you've ever made. As I just wail on him and like looks apologetically at Orzock. Sorry, bro.
You're fine. It's fine. You shall fall. You can hear the sound of blood on his voice. Basically, he's almost spitting up blood with every word he says, and there is a definite sound of fear to his words.
That's all right. I'll cauterize his internal organs soon enough.
Yep.
There you go. There you go.
Legendary action. Form flickers and vanishes, and he will target Loris, Orzock, and Bax. As he's basically going into a berserker state right now. So Loris, first attack against you. Is a 20 to hit.
Yes.
No, you got
Okay.
+2 AC
Oh,
because of haste.
21 in my AC. So would you hit 22?
20.
Oh, 20, no. Then with my +2 AC because of haste, no. Thank you.
Okay, that misses
Yeah.
you. Appears behind you, Orzock.
Oh boy.
That is a 20. Goddamn, simple maths is failing me. 25.
That's gonna hit. Yeah, you don't need.
Yeah, don't hurt yourself.
Okay. You take 4, 10, 18, 26 points of psychic damage.
I take.
So halved to 13.
Yeah.
And an additional 9 points of cold.
Oof.
Oof.
And then flickers and appears behind Bax, I believe was the other one I said.
Yep.
And brings the mace down upon you. That is a 24.
That hits.
Okay. You take
I'm gonna
1,
Yeah.
8, 11, 17,
Oh, I'm probably dead.
21 points of psychic damage.
Sorry, 21?
21 points of psychic.
Okay, I'm alive still.
And 11 points of cold.
Ooh.
Oh,
there's the rub.
literally
That's
6
Eh.
HP left.
And yeah, right.
Wait, you said and?
And
I know I'm
what?
going off tangent. That reminds me of one thing. One of my I know I'm going off tangent. But one
No,
of my
and
characters got I accidentally triggered a trap. I was dealt 70 points of damage, which was more than double my HP, so it would have killed me. I was like, sorry, 70 or 17? You said teen, right? And it just nope, gone. It's and or that when you don't know the T or teen. That's
Yeah.
the worst things.
So
Yes.
how you doing?
So does Bax fall unconscious?
No, I got 6 HP left. I'm good.
You got 6 HP? Okay, good.
Hang in
You're
there.
still standing.
I'm all right.
Orzock, you up?
I got this guy's story.
All right. You're gonna kind of see the eye kind of wriggle its way up out of my neck, and it's going to. You're just kind of see like this blue energy form, and then it's gonna cast a ray of frost.
Okay.
Dirty 20 to hit.
Your dirty 20 hits.
Right. So let's see what you're saying there. 12 points of cold damage.
You watch as, similar to the psychic slam before, the runes on the armor flare and he seems to stand up a bit straighter. Cold damage has no effect.
Blomp, blomp.
In fact, it's
Figuring
worse.
out all these things.
It's worse than no effect.
Yep. Well, you figure them out when he's one hit from death, basically. I don't expect him to survive.
He's like,
again,
thank
so-
God. Oh, God, jeez, thank God.
Oh, that's nice. Soothe the skin. Soothe the skin from the heat. Anything
And
else?
that's it. Nope, that's it.
Okay, it's now his turn. He's going to lay down at you, Bax.
Oh god.
Step past you. So he's with you all. And brings the mace down upon you first. $22.
Yeah, that hits.
Okay. Well, I don't need to roll the damage, I suppose.
No, I'm done.
Yep. You fall to the ground unconscious. He looks over to each of you, brings the mace up and slams it down in your chest backs. You all hear the sound of cracking ribs and you automatically fail 2 death saving throws.
Okay.
You may kill me. The court shall come, but I will claim one of yours. That's his turn. As he makes the 2 attack. Yeah, that's his turn. Caliban.
I lose my action as the haste wears off, and you see me put my buttstock of the rifle on the ground and lean over, exhausted. That's my turn.
He has a legendary action.
Yeah, I forgot that's like the big downside of haste.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yep.
He sneers down at you, Bax, and with the legendary action, and I'm sorry about this, brings the mace down upon you.
And I'm done.
For you, Bax, you feel a slight moment of pain and then nothingness, and you are falling through an abyss, endless and unending. And we'll cut back to you in a bit, as your story is not yet done.
Oh.
Death is not always the end. Kalinari, what do you wish to do?
Kill him aggressively.
With
Go ahead.
extreme prejudice.
Roll to attack. As you charge, I imagine you just charging.
Yeah, well, first we're gonna hit him with the 16 fire damage because fuck that guy.
Yep. Yep. He's still standing. Barely. You can hear the heavy panting. Your swine to be slaughtered. I may fall. This is not the end. The court shall come.
All right, so the first swing is a 29, the second is a 21.
Both will hit. He's out of shield spells.
And all right, so let's see. We got a 3rd level divine smite on the first one.
Yep.
For 24 radiant and 16 magical slashing. So that's 40 damage.
Do you want to do the total damage?
Sure, let's oh, that's another 16 magic slashing and 13 radiant, so that's 40, 56, 59, 69. Nice!
Nice.
69 damage in total.
Yep.
Nice.
That's a negative 36. How do you want to do this? As you deliver the final killing blow upon the Imperator.
Well, as hopefully this entire match of just burning him alive has slowly weakened him more and more, and in a fury of anger after watching him just heartlessly murder one of our group, Kalinari will charge forward and plant 2 strikes against his torso, and with the second one, that second divine smite just blasts his torso away from his head and limbs as the bones finally just crumble to dust.
You reduce his bones to dust, his flesh to dust, everything to just ash and soot, essentially, as the divine fury lashes upon this aberrant creature. The armor clashes to the ground, the body limp and almost torn apart within. At the same time, you hear a shattering crash from the other side of the room. The ice sarcophagus that he had been sat upon, shattering in turn and is falling into nothing more than a fine layer of dusting of ice. You watch as the wraith rears up, its body almost constricting in on itself as it rapidly retreats back behind the wall and the rift itself. Too quick even for you to respond, before with almost like a snapping sound, you actually see the rift in full. All of you still left standing, peer into the depths of the far realm, seeing eyes staring back. Many, many eyes, too many to count. Before with a second snap, you see the seams of reality tether themselves together again, and the rift is gone. You take a moment to catch your breath, but before you can do so, you can feel the rumbling beneath your feet. You can see the room around you flicker for a moment. And for a second, you see nothing but darkness as you're encased in stone and rock and earth before the room reforms. The room was not natural. It is vanishing. You have seconds to escape before all that is left is what was here before. The ground beneath the hill. You have the body of your comrade on the ground. What do you wish to do?
Yeah, Kalinari's first concern is getting to Bax and trying to carry him out.
Yeah.
Okay, make me an athletics check with advantage, as I imagine more than one of you are doing so.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That advantage is going to be amazing. All right, what do we got? We got a 26.
You easily manage to grab Bax's body, the bones crushed from the impact of the mace, his flesh frozen over with sheer ice. Grabbing him, you all barrel out towards the entrance, running as quick as you can. Every now and then, your vision does go dark again as the earth returns, and it happens quicker and quicker. I want everyone to make me a dexterity check.
Oh, God.
At disadvantage. Because you're all
Check
exhausted.
or
I'm already at
saving throw.
disadvantage.
It's a check. This is just how quick are you in this?
Oh,
14.
shit.
Did anyone get below a 10?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, those with below a 10, what did you get?
I got a 0.
I got a 2.
Yes, you did.
Okay.
I got a 4.
Fuck.
Okay. Oh shit.
Thanks, Caliban. Speak highly of us.
Who was that? That was Loris, Orzock, and Kalinari. Yes.
Jesus
Yeah.
fucking Christ.
Jeez. Okay. I was not expecting this.
I only have one idea left.
What did Loris get?
I got a 2.
And Orca's good as 4.
Yeah.
Orzock, sorry. Okay. As you run, Caliban, you make it out first. Somehow managing, despite the twitches and shivers, put out before the rest. Orzock, you're next. As you step through, however, the earth reforms and you find yourself bereft of an arm, but still alive.
So I'm like arm ripped off, and it's just like flapping
It's
there
like-
in the rock, just kind of like.
It's a clean sever and there's no blood. Whatever unnatural way of forming this room in the first place seems to have at least cauterized the wound. Or essentially cauterized the wound.
So the room itself is like disappearing.
Yes.
Can I try to Misty Step out?
Let me just check the ruling on Misty Step about something.
If not, I'm gonna try Dimension Door.
Oh, that's right. You have better spells than I do.
Yes. And I was looking because I was like, all right, because when you were like, I have one more thing, I was like, all right, probably Misty Step or Dimension Door, but I was like, it's only
You can do
me.
so.
It's only for me. If there's enough time, I would like to give Kalinari one and then me one, and I will literally be out of fourth. Oh wait, no, hold on. Yes.
I mean, if it can save me from being bereft of an arm, I would like to try and save myself from that as well.
If you have teleportation spells, you can use them.
Okay.
Only one action, however. This is happening too quick. Basically, this is within that 6 seconds. You have this choice now. You can have one casting.
Is that each or period?
Each.
Okay. Dimension Door, and I'm good.
Yeah,
Right,
because
Dimension
Manny can bring someone with him.
Yep. Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah. In that case, take back what I said about the arm.
Yeah.
You managed to each appear outside just as the earth encloses. Dimension Door. Sorry, I'm just trying to think of ruling on something. Let me just read. Because you have a body with you.
I mean, I can cast Dimension Door as well. It's one of my spells.
Okay. Yeah, if you do it that way, then yes. Yeah, you get out with Bax's body as well. The jaw appear outside in the tunnel once more.
Oh.
Within your minds, you can all feel a building presence. What do you... you all feel a building presence, almost like a pressure valve about to explode. Taking off as quickly as you can, you rush back through the mines. You see those eyeballs are still there. You see these squid-like creatures are still there, but they again have no reaction to you. In fact, what follows you is the sound of their laughter as you race out of the mine. Getting as far away as you can, you feel it in your soul as there's almost a spectral ethereal explosion. It seems to buffet your minds and souls. You each would take 8 points of psychic damage, essentially. A couple of points of psychic damage, but I'm not going to roll it. As you burst out into the mid-afternoon air. Sound of rumbling earth behind you as the walls of the mine seem to collapse in on themselves in the aftermath. Panting heavily, you are all outside and actually enjoying the sounds of nature wholly for the first time since you got to Aigton. Normally, previously, when you thought there was no sound but nature, there was still that hissing song. You just had not realized it. But now you realize it is gone entirely. As you make your way back to the town, you feel lighter, almost buoyed in your sense of self. As if something has been removed from the world around you, as if a veil has been pulled back, a shadow has been cast away. But we finish for you four. As you approach the town, you hear bells ringing. A sound that some of you may recognize as morning bells. And sobs and cries, and you flash back to that room and all the people within. And you wonder what happens to the other half and to those that are captured when that room vanishes. You hear the sounds of grief coming from the village. That's where your story in dispelling the shadow ends. For one of you, death is not the end of your story. But after death, there can come much more. For you, Bax, you find yourself falling down onto what feels like marble flooring. A pitch black marble flooring decorated with what seems to be moving and shifting constellations. As you lift your head, a ticking sound reaches your ears, and you set your gaze upon a large clock before you, or the interior of a large clock face, almost as if you're in a clock tower at the very top of it, seeing the gears spin and the pendulum swinging beneath you, despite this marble flooring being probably too heavy for this to be naturally here. Behind you, you hear a slow clapping. Marvelously done of you. Truly, you've done well, and I am most impressed. Do you get to your feet?
Yes, I get to my feet. Yep. I'd like to turn around and see who's speaking.
Turn around and you see a towering figure stood before you. 20 feet, 30 feet maybe, clad in dark robes and what seems to be a wooden mask, featureless barring a odd sigil on the forehead. This figure seems to step forward and the form collapses down until it's about your height. Truly, you have done well, you and your allies both. I congratulate you.
Well, thank you.
I'm afraid the embrace of death does not reach you just yet. I have an offer for you. And he slowly holds out a hand. There is more coming for your world. The veil should not have been breached like that. Not unless it was already weakening. I can offer you a second chance, a change. A possibility of flipping the coin again, of rolling the dice and seeing what other outcome might await you. What do you say, Baxiros?
A chance at life?
At life, of seeing those you have lost, and as a gift. He snaps the fingers of his other hand, and you remember. You remember the elder who died. You remember Orzock. You remember running from the Wraith. All those memories you had lost are back to you. What do you say?
What's the cost?
War. To fight in one. You took part in a battle. There's much more to come.
Oh, I'm not afraid of battle, so if it means I can live, I'll take you up on it.
Do you accept the hand?
I do accept the hand.
You accept the hand and your vision goes white for a moment. Cast out of your mind, you see orbs floating through an aether. One of boiling fire, one of ever-shifting water, one of winds that tear over the land, and one of solid earth. Within the center, you see a shifting plane that intersects with all of them. Beyond it, you see other forms, you see other veils, other realms of existence. You are peering upon the multiverse itself, seeing all the realms, including the far realm itself, out at the outer reaches. And from each realm, you see chains that are piercing through into the material plane. There are more shadows to come. Best we get there. Sorry, there are more shadows to come. Best we get going. Another chance to roll the dice. And on that comment, the shadow within the hills comes to an end.
Nice.
The shadow dispelled, but something more looming in the darkness. That's where it ends. Your story.
Awesome.
You know what? I'm not going to be able to stop thinking about whether I should have took the hand or not. It's going to drive me crazy.
Yeah, that
Tell
was.
you what, once we're in stream, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that was great. Clever kind of spell usage to actually escape and get out, which we always appreciate there at the end.
Yeah.
Because if not, I don't want to know. Like, I get crushed in a rock. Do I end up with Baxiros? Who knows? But that was a whole lot of fun. Very well done, Sam. Thank you for coming out and doing this for us while my internet shits out while I'm trying.
Yeah, man, that was a wild fucking ride.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
So we're off to the start of season 2 of One Shot Wednesdays with our guest DMs. Sam, great job. Every week we talk about, we play Dungeons and Dragons, but at the end of the day, the thing that makes this channel great is the people that appear upon it. So let's take a quick second to meet the people behind the amazing characters and our Dungeon Master from this evening. Let us start. We'll go in reverse order. We'll start with Lewis.
Lewis, longtime player of this channel. Day one, even. Love playing with Manny. He's a great DM. Love playing with all the people from the Discord and all the guys in this game. Had a lot of fun. I missed the first session, but I still felt intertwined. It was really a great session, and I thank you for that. That was a lot of fun.
Nick.
Yeah, I'm Nick. Been playing for a while here on this channel, and will continue doing it as much as I can, as much as my free time allows me to. I like to set my Wednesdays aside just to make sure. I'm really glad I didn't have anything going on this Monday, so we could finish up this thrilling conclusion. Sam, was great. I really appreciate you coming here and doing the guest DMing. That was challenging. All of my things that I brought to bear were completely like, oh fuck, what am I gonna do?
All right.
So yeah, I really appreciate this the game, and Manny, as always, appreciate you bringing us in here.
Hey, like I said, I'm just one of you guys, and apparently had my most player quote ever, so I feel like mission accomplished for this. Raz.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I have played so many games with you here on GrowedUpGeek that I actually feel weird on Wednesdays that I don't play with you. This has just become the normal. Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to some of the exciting stuff that I know we have lined up in the near future for this channel. And I'm always going to be here to try anything that you or any of your guest DMs is willing to throw at me. It's always a good time.
Yeah, awesome. Everybody narrowly escaped. David, our first timer on the channel. What'd you think? Did you have a good time?
Yeah, so this was my first one. I had a blast. I mean, I thought it went really well. I really loved it. Like Nick said, Sam, that was a really great job. I had a really great time doing it. It got me wanting to know more. Like I was saying, hopefully there's more to the story. Bring me back. I want to see how it goes. First time playing, and hopefully maybe I can slide into another one later on.
Awesome, thanks. Now let's I want to give it up for our amazing Dungeon Master for these 2 sessions. Very well done, exceptionally creepy, great atmosphere, and exceptionally challenging, more so than I usually give my players. So that was a lot of fun to genuinely be challenged and absolutely not know what's going on. So Sam, you want a minute? Like I said, thank you from everybody, from myself, for taking the load off and really coming in with just a great story and everything, and I just absolutely appreciate it.
First, I just want to say thank you to you guys for playing this one shot or 2 shot, I suppose, in the first place, because as much as you're saying, Joe, I did a great job building all the atmosphere and stuff. I think that couldn't have been done without you lot buying into the story, going along with it, and finding your investment. So thank you so much for that. I'm hopeful that you had a good time, and if you did, I'm so glad that you did. This is well, just thank you for the chance to DM for the first time in quite a while at this point. And this is actually the first one-shot, two-shot that I've done set in my own homebrew world, which I've been slowly tinkering at for the past couple of years, basically. Hence the hint at something more. That was me seeding the major storyline that goes on in my world if I ever run it. If I ever do find a group to do it, or if I ever do run more one-shots, let's say I like having player characters pop up. So your players will be NPCs if I ever do find a campaign to ever run my homebrew world. So thank you so much for playing, and yeah, I hope you all had fun, both those that played and those that watched. So yeah, thank you so much to everyone.
All right, I'll get out of here real quick. I'm Manny at GrowedUpGeek on your social medias. Your host here. You can catch us tomorrow night in the second of our 3 nights of D&D in a row. Tomorrow for the epilogue episode of Twilight Malediction. It'll be the last time we inhabit Icewind Dale and see those characters that we've been with for almost an entire year. So tune in for that. And then Wednesday, we will be back for our regular scheduled one-shot Wednesdays. Halloween-themed spooky bards and tabaxis seem to be the inadvertent theme from what I gather. Thanks to everybody who watched tonight. Thank you once again, Sam, who came out and DM'd for us. It's great to actually get to play sometimes. And David, thanks for coming out for your second time, first time, whatever. And everybody who watched, everybody who chimed in chat, really appreciate it. Thank you for watching. Hopefully we will see everybody tomorrow night or Wednesday night. And if not, we'll be back to just a Wednesday schedule for a little while until November 16th when we debut our second full-time campaign on Tuesday nights, Eberron Tranquility's Twilight. We're super excited about that. And then Raz kind of alluded to something that we will be announcing formally here for Wednesday nights starting in 2022, and we'll be announcing that very soon. So to everybody who watched, everybody who came out, thank you so much. Sam, to the players, I love you all. I appreciate you for doing this. And thanks for watching. Everybody have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow or Wednesday. Bye-bye.